fastball. My pleasure now to turn things over to Joe Angel.
All right, Fred, here we go. Johnny Damon will get this one started. Lester delivers and a ball. That one low and outside. 1-0 to Johnny Damon. With Melvin Mora very shallow at third base and on the infield grass. Lester ready, delivers again, and Damon takes a strike. Caught the outside corner. Well, Fred mentioned Lester his last start. A good one. But it wasn't good enough. There's the 1-1 pitch. Damon slices one foul. That was against Texas. In that game, all Lester did was throw his first Major League complete game. It was an 8-inning complete game, but it was a 3-0 loss. But he was outstanding. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Damon takes a very high fastball. He lost that game 3-0. He went 8 innings, gave up 3 runs, 7 hits. He didn't walk anybody. He also had 3 strikeouts. And over the final 5 innings, he allowed only 3 hits. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Damon takes just outside. And they count 3-2. But 2 of those hits were infield hits. Just had no run support in that game. That was a game in which the Orioles were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. And they grounded into 3 double plays in that game in Texas. Broken bat pop up deep short. Fading back is Tejada to the outfield grass. Makes the catch. And Damon is gone on a broken bat on that 3-2 pitch. And now Lester will go to work on Derek Jeter.
Well, Derek Jeter did not play in last night's wrap-up down at Tampa Bay. Jeter, along with Abreu and A-Rod, given the night off after the celebration of the night before when they wrapped up that postseason spot. So it'll be interesting to see how things go for the Yankees and how much desire they have to win that American League East.
You know, you kind of wonder about that. I mean, the idea is to get in the postseason. Pitch on the way to Jeter and taken at the knees. That's a call strike. And the count 0-1. But these days, the idea is just to get in, just to get to that dance. And then once you get there, just keep on dancing. I mean, these days, if you go in as a wild card, that is not a bad thing. Wild cards have had great success in the postseason. The other Derek Jeter up there with a batting average of .322, 12 home runs and 71 RBIs. Lester will wind and he will deliver to the Yankees shortstop. And there's a ground ball back of the bag at first base. In to cradle that ball at first base. And then the underhand toss to Lester covering. And that is out number 2.
Now Scott Moore getting the start at first base tonight for the Orioles with Aubrey Huff DHing and Kevin Millar sitting tonight.
Scott Moore had that ball come up on him and he had to cradle that thing up against his uniform. I think he caught that ball with his chest. So Jeter is retired, and now it'll bring up Bobby Abreu. 2 down with the bases empty. And you do wonder, the Yankees right now trail Boston by a couple of games for that divisional race. And of course, the Yankees have won those 10 consecutive division titles, but have already clinched the postseason as a wild card. And Abreu takes a strike on the outside corner.
Well, as it stands right now, if the Yankees go in as they are situated at this point, they'll play the Cleveland Indians. And they have played Cleveland 6 times this year without a loss.
And Abreu slices one foul. So the count 0-2 now to the Yankee right fielder. Abreu hitting .282, 16 home runs, 99 RBIs. So he's just 1 away from 100 knocked in this year. Interesting of Bobby Abreu hitting about .280. Here's the 0-2 delivery. There's a drive out toward right center. There's nobody out there. That is a classic gapper. It's on the track and it's up against the wall. Abreu into second base, takes a turn, hangs on right there. Ball back in. So Bobby Abreu with a 2-run double. And now we'll take a look at Alex Rodriguez here in the first inning. I mean, Abreu hit that ball dead between Redmond and Markakis.
And it wasn't the typical swing of a left-handed hitter. It wasn't downstairs. In fact, it was letters high, a fastball kind of going outside, and he just stroked it in the gap in right center field.
Interesting combination here. Bobby Abreu and Alex Rodriguez. Abreu hitting third tonight. A-Rod now hitting fourth. And he takes a lone inside for a ball. The first base open. I don't imagine Lester is going to be too generous to Alex Rodriguez here. But Bobby Abreu is second in the American League in runs scored. And he is second in the league to his teammate, Alex Rodriguez, who's out there hitting right now. Here's the 1-0 delivery, swung out and fouled away. And a ball that looked like it was down and away. But Bobby Abreu has scored 119 runs this season, even though he's hit only about 280, 282 now to be exact, coming in tonight. But the fact that he has scored so many runs is a tribute to guys like Alex Rodriguez. And Matsui's also knocked in over 100 runs. And much of the time, it's been Bobby Abreu they've knocked in. I mean, Abreu in his entire career has never scored more runs than he has scored so far this year. And he is not having his best season. Hey, right with a count of 2-1. So Rodriguez and Matsui, they've all been cashing in. Here comes the 2-1 delivery. And in there for a call strike, off-speed pitch. A little breaking ball on 2-1. And A-Rod just could not pull the trigger. So 2-2 now to the Yankee third baseman. 0-0 game. This one just getting started. John Lester. If he wins tonight, he would end the season with a .500 record. His record 2-3. Here comes the pitch. And he gets him looking. A-Rod goes down. Fastball at 94. Well, Rodriguez could not pull the trigger on that breaking ball, and then he couldn't pull the trigger on the fastball. So he goes down looking. Lester went after him, and he got him. So the Orioles now coming up. We head to the bottom of the first. 0-0 on the Orioles radio network. Well, against Mike Messina, here come the Orioles now. Bottom of the first inning, Brian Roberts, and then Tyke Redmond, and then Nick Markakis in a 0-0 game. And on the SK scoreboard, they're underway at Fenway Park. Minnesota did not score in the first inning against Daisuke. So the Red Sox are now hitting 0-0 game at Fenway. The Red Sox and the Twins. Matsuzaka going into that game with a record of 14-12, but really struggling the last month and a half or so. Here's Roberts. Messina delivers, and Bryant takes a knee-high strike.
And tonight's Minnesota pitcher, the kid slowly, is 4-0. He has pitched very well since being brought up from the minor leagues.
Matsuzaka Daisuke, his last 5 starts, his ERA is just under 10 runs a game. Roberts lines a base hit to left field. They're going to the opposite field. Matsui digs it up, gets it back into second base. Brian Roberts gets aboard. Roberts against Messina with a career batting average now of almost 500. He's had 18 hits in 37 at-bats against Messina. That's amazing. And now here's Redmond with nobody out. 0-0 game in the bottom of the first inning. Mike Messina, his last start, became a 250 game winner. That was in a win over the Toronto Blue Jays in his last start. Redmond feigns a bunt. He pulled the bat back and he takes a call strike. The count 0-1. Yeah, Messina's won 250 games, and 77 of them have come at Camden Yards. No one in the history of this ballpark has won more games here than Messina. He's won 77. Scott Erickson is a distant second. He won 43 here. There goes Roberts. Pitch is swung on, popped up toward the lower deck behind first base. Minkiewicz is over, and he runs out of room.
And the third best is a guy who's been unemployed, Sidney Ponson. Ponson with 37 career wins here at the Yards.
Where is Sidney these days?
That's a good question.
I think he's waiting for that arbitration hearing with the Orioles. He's still trying to get paid. So now Redmond with a count of no balls and 2 strikes. Sidney went to St. Louis, and things did not work out there either. For the first, and Roberts had only about a 2-step lead. He got back easily. The Yankees out there with Rodriguez at third, Jeter, the shortstop. Cano is out there at second. Minkiewicz is on the bag at first. Jorge Posada does the catching here tonight, with Matsui, Damon, and Abreu in the outfield left to right. And against Redmond right now, they're really spread out. Here comes the pitch. And Redmond gets under it, and he fouled it back towards us. The count stays at 0-2. Now Messina this season 11-10 for the Yankees. He's made 26 starts, but he has been in 27 games. Made that one relief appearance, the only relief appearance that he has ever made in the major leagues. So he's had very much of an up and down season, and until recently it had been mostly down.
Now, September's been an outstanding month for Moose. With his 4 games and 3 starts, he's 3-0 and an ERA under 2 this month.
Well, once he got back in the starting rotation, he's been pitching very well. I mean, tonight looking for what would be his 4th consecutive victory, and he has won 7 of his last 10 starts. Redmond digs in, nothing in 2 the count. Roberts gets back to first as Messina goes over there again. Roberts, much like he does out there when he gets to second base, kind of jumping and dancing off the bag, trying to disturb Messina. Of course, Brian Roberts among the leaders, second in the league with 48 stolen bases. Out there at first base with nobody out. Messina again sets. And here comes the pitch. Pitch out. Nothing going on. So they guessed wrong.
Roberts starts all that dancing just as the pitcher is about to deliver to the plate, maybe trying to distract him out of the corner of his eye, but Messina, with that pitch out, wasn't affected by that jumping and dancing from first base.
That's what he does that too. He also disturbs the catcher. There's the 1-2 pitch out again. They guessed wrong. Again, Roberts wasn't going anywhere. Now, if I'm Roberts, and if I do intend to steal, I'm going to do it right now, because the Yankees are not going to pitch out 3 times in a row. So if you're going to run, you're going to do it right now. Roberts out there getting his lead. Messina sets, and then the right-hander a look at first. There he goes. There's a high fly ball right center. Well hit. Racing back Abreu. He'll get there to make the catch. So Roberts had to apply the brakes and head back to first. And boy, he got a pretty good jump too. But with 2 strikes, Redmond put a pretty good move on that ball, but Abreu got there. And now here's Nick Markakis. Nothing game here on the bottom of the first inning. Also on the SK scoreboard, American League, Toronto at Tampa Bay just getting underway. Nothing in the first. Later tonight, Cleveland is going to be at Kansas City. The Indians still battling for the best record in the American League. Detroit is at the Chicago White Sox. The Angels are at Oakland, Texas, and Seattle. But of course, the important games tonight are being played in the National League. There's the pitch to Markakis. Line drive, base hit right field. Cano couldn't get to it. Roberts will stop at second. So Markakis gets aboard, and with 2 on and only 1 out, it'll bring up Miguel Tejada.
Well, here in the first inning, in looking at Moose for the second time in a couple of weeks, the Orioles have already equaled 2/3 of their hit total from his last start against the Orioles.
Yeah. And hey, don't look now, but Markakis is getting hot again. With a single here, Nick has now had 7 hits in his last 9 at-bats. And he's had 14 hits in his last 26 at-bats. Prior to that, he had cooled off a bit, but looks like Markakis is going to finish strong. And now here's Miguel Tejada. Right-hander against right-hander. Now Tejada in his career has hit .396 against Mike Messina, which includes 4 home runs against him. And now again, Roberts out there at second base, dancing off the bag. Cano, the second baseman, kind of snuck in behind him. And Messina noticed all the commotion, but for some reason, he didn't look toward second base. He looked toward first base, where Nick Markakis was out there getting his lead. At least Messina on that occasion looked a little bit confused. It was Brian Roberts causing all the commotion out there. Here comes the pitch. Fastball in there for a strike, and Markakis is picked off at first base in a rundown, and Cano dropped the ball, but he stays in a rundown. Mankiewicz will chase him. Roberts is at third, and they don't get anybody. The Yankees butcher the rundown play. Markakis winds up at second base, and Roberts, who had gone to third and was dancing off the bag, Mankiewicz took a look, and by the time he went back to second base, it was too late to get Markakis there.
Yeah, Mankiewicz was so concerned that Brian Roberts was going to break from third base that he just held the ball as Markakis ran towards second for a third time and didn't make the throw. And that allows the Orioles to get runners in scoring position now with one down for Tejada.
Well, the Yankees got all out of kilter initially when Cano dropped the ball in a rundown. So now Tejada with the count of 0-1. Here comes the pitch. And this one is low and inside a ball. Even up 1-1 now to the Orioles shortstop. I mean, Cano dropped the ball in the rundown chasing Markakis, but he retrieved it. Markakis was still in a rundown. He couldn't get back to first base. The throw to Mankiewicz, and then Markakis took off for second base. Meanwhile, Roberts was causing all kinds of commotion at third base, and the Yankees came up empty. 1-1 to Miguel Tejada. Here comes the pitch. Little bouncy ball back to Messina. That will not get the job done. Throw to first to get the out, and Roberts is frozen at third. Well, he got him on a breaking ball, and Miguel chased and hit that thing very gently right off the end of the bat. I mentioned Tejada had great success against Messina, but not that time. So now it's up to Aubrey Huff to get this done with 2 outs. 0-0 game here in the bottom of the first inning.
You know, last night Aubrey broke out of a long funk by hitting a couple of doubles and walking. Went 2 for 3 in last night's Orioles win over Toronto.
And those were his only hits in his last 21 at bats. He is 2 for his last 21. Pitch on the way. Huff takes a fastball just outside. 1 ball and no strikes.
Interesting watching Messina's expression as that pitch went to the outside corner. Larry Vanover said it was outside. I know a lot of the Orioles in the last start Messina made against the Birds at Yankee Stadium complaining about the strike zone that Eric Cooper had. They said it was very extended where Messina was getting the calls when maybe the pitch was off the plate.
Yeah, they were incredulous at some of those call strikes. Here's the 1-0 delivery, and this one is up and in. For the count 2-0. On deck is Melvin Mora, but there were 2 outs. The Red Sox scored a run in the bottom of the first inning, so they've taken a 1-0 lead in their game against Minnesota at Fenway Park. And they are still batting in the first inning. Huff waits on a 2-0 pitch. Runners at second and third, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. And there's a letter high strike. It's called. In the National League, Washington is at Philadelphia. 0-0 in the second inning. The Phillies and the Mets are now tied for the Eastern Division lead. Believe it or not. The Mets, who had a 7-game lead with 17 to play, and they are now tied. Over a 14-game stretch, they lost 7 games. Fly ball, left field, should be caught. Matsui, bless you, makes the catch. And the Orioles had second and third with only 1 out, and they do not score. End of 1-0 on the Orioles radio network. All right, now the Yankees here in the top of the second, 0-0 game. In the National League, the Cubs have taken a 1-0 lead at Cincinnati at the end of 1. Whereas the Cubs right now the Central Division leaders over Milwaukee. Although they've struggled, the Cubs are right now with a 2-game lead, so they could clinch tonight if they win and Milwaukee loses. We'll keep you posted. Here's Matsui. Lester delivers. Line drive. Tejada makes a backhand catch for the out. Had to wait on the umpire. The call was made by the second base umpire, although the third base umpire had a much better look at it. Tejada nearly trapped that ball, but he caught that thing just on top of the dirt. So 1 away, Matsui gone, and now here's the catcher Jorge Posada. We'll give you a station break in a moment here. Posada digs in. Posada's had just a marvelous season. And had it not been for Alex Rodriguez and the year he's had, Posada just might be the Yankees MVP and just might have been the American League MVP. The job he's done this year. Hitting .336. Here comes the pitch. This fastball outside, ball 1. Jorge with 20 home runs, 89 RBIs. Posada 5th in the league in hitting right now. He's among the leaders in doubles. And the job he's done defensively. He is 3rd in the league in on-base percentage. Jorge Posada. But of course, Alex Rodriguez has had the kind of a season that few have had in the history of the game. Here comes the 1-0 pitch, and Posada Takes low and outside, ball 2. We'll count 2-0. Well, here at Camden Yards, the second inning tonight, being brought to you by R&H Mercedes-Benz and Owings Mills. They're offering 2.9% financing on select certified pre-owned vehicles. And Posada takes outside, ball 3. With a 155-point inspection, also a 100,000-mile warranty and roadside assistance for life. I bet you Posada's got the green light. Here comes the pitch. And he takes a fastball at the knees. That's a call strike. And after kind of turning his shoulder into it, so the count 3-1. Nothing game here. Top 2 at Camden Yards. Right-handed John Lester winds and delivers, and Posada will take a knee-high strike again. That time with a fastball at about 94, and again right around knee height. So the count 3-2. And Lester takes a look. Remember, he got Rodriguez looking in the first inning. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. And Posada takes outside, and boy, that one looked real good. But he gets a walk. And we'll pause for station identification on the Orioles radio network. And now here's Giambi. I think I know why Lester didn't get that last call. The catcher, Hernandez, was set up well on the inside. But Lester threw that ball over the outside corner. So the catcher had to kind of reach out to his left to catch it. And may have convinced the umpire that maybe that pitch was outside. And now Giambi takes it a little bit low.
I thought for a moment that Posada was going to be called out because he started taking a step toward the third base side dugout only to take that shin guard off, that protective shin guard. But that was close enough to be called a strike.
Yeah, that was borderline. Could have gone either way. But Posada gets the call. Now Lester again sets. And here it comes. This went down to Giambi's feet. The count 2-0. Now Giambi, he's out there with a batting average of only .236. Of course, he missed over 60 games on the disabled list. Had that foot injury that kept him out. Since he came off the disabled list, he's hit about 194. Although he did hit a grand slam the other day against the Blue Jays. Jason Giambi with a count of 2 balls and no strikes. Boston scored twice in the first inning. So at the end of one, they lead Minnesota 2-0 behind Daisuke. Fastball is up and away. So they count 3-0. And if you're John Lester, this is a formula for disaster. Remember, he got behind Posada 3-0. And he came back to 3-2. And then he walked him on a borderline pitch. But now he's behind Giambi 3-0. And against this Yankee ball club, you cannot keep on getting behind like that. Here comes a 3-0 delivery, and there's a 4-pitch walk. So back-to-back walks after the line drive out hit by Matsui. And now here's Robbie Cano. In the National League, mentioned the Cubs with a 1-0 lead in Cincinnati at the end of one. And they got that one on a home run by Alfonso Soriano. So he's got 32 now. And he has hit a bunch of big home runs in September for the Cubs. Now Florida has taken a 2-0 lead in their game against the Mets at the end of one at Shea Stadium. As Jeremy Hermida with a 2-run home run for Florida to give them that early advantage at Shea Stadium. And the Mets, what a story. The Mets are a mess in New York. Here comes the pitch. And this one is low. So now Cano with a count of 1-0, and the catcher Hernandez goes out to talk to Lester. And as we said against the Yankees, against any ball club, but in particular against the Yankees, you cannot continually get behind the count if you're the pitcher. But the Mets ball club, I mean, they're trying to end a 4-game losing streak. They've lost 10 of the last 14 games they played. And suddenly they're tied for the division lead. And the way they're going, they may not even make the playoffs this year. The way the Rockies are going. And of course, San Diego right now has got a 1-game lead in the wild card. So for the Mets, it could really be a disaster. A couple of weeks ago, they were shoo-in Here's the 1-0 delivery. Check swing. The appeal to third is denied. So the count to Cano is now 2-0. That pitch was low and outside. Lester struggling now. Of course, the Yankees, a club, they're going to force you to throw strikes. Very patient ball club. That's why they average over 3 hours a game. They'll take a look at a lot of pitches. And now Cano will back away here. And Robbie Cano hitting .305 for the Yankees. 19 home runs. He's knocked in 94 runs. Here comes the 2-0 delivery. And there's the call strike. Caught the outside corner, but barely. So they count 2-1. At Philadelphia, Washington nothing, the Phillies nothing in the second inning. Cano digs in, the count 2-1. Pitch on the way, driven into center, coming on Redmond. He'll make the catch, maybe a double play. Here's the throw to second, out of bounds, got him. A double play. Posada must have lost his mind. He took off for third and he could not get back. So he either thought it was going to be a hit or he forgot how many outs there were. Either way, it's a double play, and the Yankees come up empty in the second inning. So now the Orioles are coming up 0-0 on the Orioles radio network. All right, here's Melvin Mora now to lead off for the Orioles. Bottom of the second against right-hander Mike Messina. I'll tell you what, Fred, the way the Yankees are playing the game tonight, I mean, that botched rundown play that enabled the Orioles to get runners on second and third with only 1 out. And then running into a double play, Jorge Posada right there in the second inning. As Melvin Mora digs in, Messina delivers. And a little bit low for a ball. I mean, the way the Yankees are playing right now, you get the feeling that maybe winning a division title isn't all that important to them.
Yeah, they figure they're in the playoffs. They're thinking about next week. They're not thinking about tonight.
Now the 1-0 pitch on the way. Melvin sends a fly ball toward right. Bobby Abreu kind of moseying on over toward the corner a bit to make the catch. And Melvin Mora is a fly ball out. And now here's the catcher, Ramon Hernandez. 0-0 game. In the third now, St. Louis 1-0 over Pittsburgh. In the second inning, the Cubs now with a 2-0 lead in Cincinnati. Mentioned Soriano with a home run. And for the Cubs in that game, it's Carlos Zambrano on the hill, trying to become an 18-game winner. Cubs are trying to end a 3-game losing streak. And they're coming off a series in which they were swept by the Florida Marlins. So the Cubs are trying to get straightened out. Here's the pitch now to Ramon. He takes up and in for ball 1. Milwaukee, they're at home against San Diego tonight. That game getting underway in about 20 minutes. In that game, it's Greg Maddux against Chris Capuano. And it's a game that Milwaukee has to win. Ramon takes a strike on the inside corner. I mean, Milwaukee could be eliminated tonight if the Cubs win and Milwaukee loses. Chicago's magic number is 2. Now the 1-1 to Ramon. In there with the knees. That's a call strike. That fastball he snuck by him. 1-2 now to Hernandez. Ramon comes in tonight hitting .254. 8 home runs, 57 RBIs. He's been hot lately. Ramon has had 11 hits in his last 26 at bats. Messina winds and he will deliver. Fastball gets him looking. He snuck another one by him. And Ramon never pulled the trigger. So Messina picks up his first strikeout tonight. Threw him at 2-seamer. Hernandez gave up on it and it darted back in and caught the outside corner. That's a real good pitch right there. That's the pitch that Greg Maddux has lived on in a Hall of Fame career. In fact, that's often referred to as a Greg Maddux fastball. A little sneaky 2-seamer. Now Payton lines it down the right field line. Abreu running over, lunges, cannot get to it, and the ball gets past him, and it's up against the fence. Payton turning second, heading for third. He's going to be in there standing as Abreu struggled with that ball on the warning track in right field.
Yeah, Abreu reached down to pick it up and then dropped it again. So that allows the Orioles to get that runner Jay Payton to third base.
We've been seeing Jay Payton do a lot of that, going to the opposite field. Abreu could never quite commit to that ball. It looked as though he just was not certain whether to make a dive or maybe go into a slide to try to make that catch. So he did half of each and never came close to catching that ball. And now here's Moore. He lines it into center. That's a base hit. It'll drive in a run as Payton comes in from third. So Scott Moore wasting no time. He hit that thing right back up the middle. He picks up his 10th RBI and he gives the Orioles a 1-0 lead. And now the top of the order comes up in Brian Roberts. Well, Scott Moore put a pretty good move on that pitch.
Looked like a breaking ball that snapped right over the plate, and Moore then sent it to center field with authority.
Well, I guess they gave Jay Payton a triple all the way. And then scores on the single by Scott Moore. And now Roberts, he takes a strike. Caught the inside corner. Roberts 1 for 1. He had a single back in the first inning. Yeah, later tonight, San Diego at Milwaukee. And the big one, Arizona at Colorado. Now there's a series that we'll keep an eye on. As they go head to head, the Rockies are amazing. Roberts swings and misses. Now they count 0-2. The Rockies, who tonight will try to win their 12th consecutive game. And if they win out, they will be the division champions. I mean, they trail Arizona by a couple of games. But they're going head to head in a 3-game series. And to win that division, the Rockies have to win all 3. There goes the runner. The pitch is inside. The throw to second. The tag by Jeter. They got him. And Scott Moore is caught stealing. So Roberts will lead off in the third. And at the end of 2, the Orioles with a 1-0 lead on the Orioles Radio Network. Could be a good time. Orioles ahead 1-0. Of course, the Yankees here tomorrow. Yankees here on Sunday as they close out the regular season. There are tickets available. 888-848-BIRD. 1-0 Orioles. Let's get right to Fred Manfred.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Doug Minkiewicz, left-handed batting first baseman, takes the first delivery from John Lester for a strike on the outside corner. Lester last inning walked 2 Yankees with 1 down, but then as Cano hit a line drive to center field, Posada took off from second base and was doubled up at second. Fastball outside, 1-1 to Minkiewicz. Minkiewicz on the year at .274 average, but in this month of September, he has been hot at the plate, playing good defensive first base as you anticipate from a Doug Minkiewicz. Hitting .455 this month. Delivery on the way, 1-1, and Minkiewicz lifts off fly ball down the left field line, racing over toward the line and watching it drop in front of him fair is Jay Payton. So Minkiewicz gets that base hit down the left field line, and he is on at first to start the inning for the Yankees. Now we go to Johnny Damon. Damon popped out on a 3-2 pitch to shortstop Miguel Tejada in shallow left field, his first at bat. Damon Tuesday night down at Tropicana Field had a big night. 5 hits, tying a career high. He has a 3-game hit streak ongoing. Left-handed batter. Minkiewicz at first. Melvin Mora anticipating the bunt, sneaking in from third, but a strike called and no indication that Johnny Damon would square. Fastball at the knees for strike 1 to Damon. Johnny hitting .268, 11 home runs and 61 driven in. Minkiewicz with his lead at first, being held by Moore, slapped down the left field line, a base hit beyond the third baseman Melvin Mora. Goes into the left field corner. Minkiewicz will be held up at third, into second base, Johnny Damon. Now that's a classic Johnny Damon hit. All he did was slap at the baseball. It went on a line between the third baseman Melvin Mora and the bag. And Johnny Damon pulls into second base with his 27th double. 2 runners in scoring position for Derek Jeter with no one down. Jeter grounded out to the first baseman Moore his first trip. I mentioned Jeter did not play in last night's Yankees game at Tropicana Field. He got the night off following the celebration of the night before, the celebration of wrapping up the postseason. He has hit in 13 consecutive games. Pitch on the way to Jeter, a fastball inside and low, ball one. Jeter has had 23 hits over his last 55 at-bats. Looking down at his third base coach, Larry Boa. Jeter with 71 runs driven in, 203 hits on the year, a dozen home runs, and a .322 batting average. He has two in scoring position, no one down. Orioles lead at 1-0 in the third. The pitch, a swing and a miss. Breaking ball down and away. And Jeter went after that curveball and missed it by a good 6-7 inches. So the count evens at 1-1 to Derek Jeter. And this is Jeter's third consecutive season with 200 or more hits. John Lester sets. Runners at second and third. The pitch to Jeter, fouled back and off to the right into the club level. So the count 1-2 to the Yankee shortstop. SK out of town scoreboard. Florida now after two leading at New York 2-1. Ramita, his 18th home run for the Florida Marlins. But the Mets have cut that Florida Marlin lead in half to 2-1. Minkevich is at third. Damon at second. A 1-2 count with nobody out to Derek Jeter. The Lester delivery to Jeter. Line down the right field side, but foul. Hits off the railing of the stands down the right field side and then bounces all the way out to Nick Markakis and beyond. So the count remains 1-2 strikes to Jeter. Boston continues to lead at home against Minnesota 2-0, top of the third. Boston's magic number to wrap up the East, still 2. Last night, with the bases loaded and 1 out in the bottom of the ninth inning, a strikeout of Veritek, and then Youkilis by Nathan won that game for Minnesota. Here's a line drive into center field, a base hit off the bat of Derek Jeter. Minkevich comes in. Damon races around. He will score. It's now a 2-1 Yankees lead. Now the ball out of the reach of shortstop Miguel Tejada into center field. Jeter picks up RBIs 72 and 73. And after the Orioles grab the 1-0 lead in the bottom of the second, the Yankees come back to score twice. Here in the top of the third, still no one down. Jeter at first for Bobby Abreu. So Derek Jeter extends his hit streak to 14 consecutive games, and he is at first base for the left-handed bat of Abreu.
Well, Jeter came in hitting over .350 with runners in scoring position. And when a team had Roger Clemens, when somebody like Roger Clemens refers to you as the best clutch hitter I have ever played with, well, that's saying something. And that's what Clemens said about Jeter.
Yeah, that's a high compliment coming from a guy who's headed to the Hall of Fame. And, of course, Jeter, that's how he's earned his Yankee captaincy.
But he said that about Jeter on the same team that has Alex Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm. Of course, A-Rod with his 151 runs driven in, 53 home runs. Jeter at first. Abreu at the plate, nobody out. The pitch to Bobby Abreu right down the middle, and he takes it. Now, speaking of Roger Clemens, he looks like he will be the number 3 starter in the postseason rotation for the Yankees. Joe Torre saying that Chen-Ming Wang and Andy Pettitte will be his first 2 starters. He didn't give any particular order for their starts. 0-1 the count to the left-handed bat of right field. There goes Jeter. It's a pitch low, a double clutch by Ramon Hernandez, and the throw on the bounce and bounces away from Miguel Tejada. Jeter picking up the steal, his 15th of the year. You know, as Ramon came up with that ball, he double clutched before he threw. So Jeter's in scoring position with nobody out, and the throw was not a good one from Ramon. So the 15th steal for Jeter and a 1-1 count to Bobby Abreu. You know, Roger Clemens will throw a simulated game Monday in Tampa, and if he comes through that okay, he would be the number 3 starter. If he doesn't, then Mike Mussina would move into that number 3 spot in the postseason rotation for the Yankees. Abreu waits. The 1-1 pitch with Jeter now at second base, nobody down. The pitch to Bobby, fastball high and away, 2-1.
On that stolen base, Jeter ran out a breaking ball. Ramon caught the ball right in the webbing of the glove, and when he went to get it, the ball stuck in there. He couldn't dig it out. That's why he went back after it. By that time, it was too late.
2-1 count to Abreu. Abreu doubled his first at bat. Now he swings and misses for strike 2. The breaking ball. Abreu steps out of the batter's box. Abreu hitting .283. Abreu with 1 RBI shy of the century mark this year. He has a chance with Jeter at second base. 2-ball, 2-strike count. On deck, Alex Rodriguez. John Lester, the right-hander, sets. Looks back at Jeter at second. Delivers to Abreu. And a fastball up and in. Did Abreu go around too far? Yes, he did, said Greg Gibson, the third base umpire. Pitch up and in. Abreu had the hands move. He thought he held back. He's looking down. And if eyesight had daggers right now, Greg Gibson would be full of knives, because Abreu thought he had held back on the swing, and then Gibson with the big strike call saying, yes, you did go around, and he punches him out from his third base spot down behind the bag at third. So 1 gone. And now here's Alex Rodriguez. He fly ball, well hit the left field. Racing back is Jay Payton. Well, how do you like that? That's the 54th home run of the season for Alex Rodriguez. A line drive to the right of the 364 sign. 54 home runs. 153 runs driven in as A-Rod gives the Yankees the 4-1 lead. That was a blue darter off the bat, a line drive that didn't gain much altitude. Wound up about 4 rows deep to the right of the 364 sign over the Bud Light sign. So Alex Rodriguez with number 54. And the Orioles have seen their 1-0 lead quickly dissipate. It's a 4-1 New York lead here in the top of inning number 4 with just 1 down. And the pitch, breaking ball low. Back in 1948, Joe DiMaggio drove in 155 runs for the New York Yankees. And for A-Rod, the most since that point for a New York hitter. Fastball strike called. 1 ball, 1 strike to Hideki Matsui. Matsui is lined out to short in his only at bat. John Lester roughed up for 4 runs so far with just 1 down. Matsui takes it in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike. For the Yankees, 4 runs, 5 hits. No errors. They've left 2. Matsui hitting .284. The 2-1 delivery to the left-handed batter, hit high and foul and out of play. Well, Hideki Matsui with 102 runs driven in, 4th time in 5 seasons to go with 100 or more RBI. So Alex Rodriguez hitting his 4th home run of the year against the Orioles, now with 13 of his 153 driven in against the Birds. Here's the 2-2 pitch all the way to Matsui. Nope, stopping right in the middle of it was Lester. Now John is ready to deal. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 4 runs in and 1 out here in the top of the 3rd. Matsui hits a bounding ball to the first baseman off the glove of Moore, but he flips back to Lester, who is covering the bag at first base for the out. Well, as Moore charged, looked like it hit the heel of the glove, bounded away, but Moore maintained his mind, and he went after it, and Lester quickly off the mound was at first base to cover. And they get Matsui by a good margin for the 2nd out of the inning. Nice recovery by Moore, and Lester sprinting off the mound to get to first base easily.
Well, Scott Moore took a very awkward approach to try to get to that ball. Looked very amateurish, but then once he retrieved it, he made a really good across the body underhand toss.
Here's Jorge Posada, and Posada takes the fastball high, ball 1. Posada walked his first trip.
So he saved the out. Bottom line, he got the out.
Yeah, the Orioles giving a good look at Scott Moore. He can play third base, he can play the outfield, he can play first base. Of course, that's where he is tonight. 1 ball to Jorge Posada, hitting .336. The pitch to the switch hitting catcher, down and in. 2 balls and no strikes to Jorge. 4-1 New York. Out hitting the Orioles now 5-4. Boston Red Sox have increased their lead at home against Minnesota in the bottom of the third. It's now a 3-0 Boston lead. 2-0 pitch to Posada. Foul ball banged into the dirt and rolls back to the backstop and then hits that brick and bounces out toward the mound. So the count 2-1 to Jorge. 7 hits over his last 21 at bats, having just a terrific year offensively as well as defensively behind the plate for the Yankees. Posada hitting .337 as a left-handed batter. Fastball high. .333 from the other side of the plate. He generates most of his power as a left-handed batter. So a 3-1 count. Out of Posada's 20 home runs, 14 as a left-handed swinger. The pitch on the way, and Posada lines it into center field, a base hit. Well, with Jason Giambi coming up, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Orioles Radio Network. Fred Manfred, Joe Angel here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, and Leo Mazzoni will go out to the mound to talk to Lester. Yankees have scored 4 times in this inning. Hey, join the Orioles all weekend here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards for Fan Appreciation Weekend. Tomorrow and Sunday, fans will be treated to special surprises, promotions, and events like the opportunity throughout the first pitch, run out onto the field with the players, or even receive a jersey from your favorite Oriole. So don't miss any of the action this weekend as the team says thank you to the Oriole fans. For tickets, call the Orioles at 888-848-BIRD or visit Orioles.com. Well, Victor Zambrano, who had a short night of work the other night against the Toronto Blue Jays, begins to loosen up in the Oriole bullpen. And Zambrano did not make it out of the first against his former team, the Blue Jays. So here's Giambi. The pitch on the way to Giambi is a breaking ball for a strike one. Derek Jeter with an RBI single that plated 2 runs, and then a 2-run home run from Alex Rodriguez for the 4 runs for the Yankees. Sliced foul out of play off the bat of Giambi. Count 0-2 to the Yankees' designated hitter. He has been struggling since coming off the disabled list, hitting under 200. 4 runs on 6 hits for New York. 1 run on 4 for the Orioles. Lester trying to get the final out here in the top of the third. Not being held is Posada at first base. Giambi with 14 home runs and 36 driven in. Lester brings the hands together away from the body. Pitch on the way to Giambi, high and away with a fastball. The count now 1-2 to Jason. Philadelphia Phillies and the Nationals, they're scoreless in the bottom of the 4th up in Philadelphia. Meanwhile, the Florida Marlins have scored another run to take a 3-1 lead in the top of the 3rd at Shea against the Mets. The 1-2 pitch to Giambi, popped foul and out of play behind the plate. Chicago Cubs continue to lead 2-0 at Cincinnati as they play in Ohio. Alfonso Soriano with his 32nd home run of the year. Jason Giambi with a 1-2 count. Posada at first base, 4 runs in for New York. They lead it 4-1. Pitch to Giambi, a breaking ball. Did he go around too far? And whether he did or not, looked like it broke over the plate as well. So a strikeout for Lester, his 2nd of the game, and that's the final out for the Yankees. But they score 4 here in the top of the 3rd. Head to the bottom of the inning. Yankees 4, Orioles 1 on the Orioles Radio Network. Now Mike Messina will face Brian Roberts, Tyke Redmond, and Nick Markakis here in the bottom of the 3rd. Orioles now trailing 4-1. Fly ball left field. Cruising back is Matsui, and he reaches up to make the grab. Brian Roberts is now 1 for 2 as he makes the first out here in the bottom of inning number 3. He singled his first at bat. Brian was at the plate when Scott Moore was caught stealing to bring an end to the Orioles' 1-run 2nd inning. In that inning, Scott drove in the Orioles' only run after a Peyton 2-out triple. So Redmond will step in now. Fly ball to right, and Bobby Abreu is first at bat. Mike Messina to the plate to Redmond. A big, slow breaking ball has the plate for strike one. Tyke hitting .317, couple of home runs, 16 runs driven in. .308 this month of September for Redmond. The Messina delivery to the left-handed batter. Fastball misses inside. Third inning is sponsored by Maryland Seafood. It's as good as it gets. Ask for Maryland Seafood at your local store or favorite restaurant. Now for recipe ideas, visit the internet, marylandseafood.org. 1-1 the count to Tyke Redmond. Way inside again, but a strike call on the inside corner. Redmond jackknifing away from the plate. And that fastball had movement and action back over the dish. And the count now 1-2 to the left-handed batting center fielder with Nick Markakis on deck. Here's Messina to the plate, and Redmond slashes it into left field, a base hit. Redmond on with a one-out single, and Nick Markakis will step in now. Markakis has singled his lone at bat tonight. Markakis had 2 more hits in last night's ball game. It followed a 4-hit game against the Toronto Blue Jays. So Nick will step in now. Hitting well over .330 since July 2nd. Markakis, of course, leads the ball club with his 22 homers. He's driven in 110. Time requested by Tyke Redmond at first base as he adjusts a wrist guard and will prevent any wrist injury should he go headlong to the bag at second base on a steal or a slide. So Markakis brings his .296 average against Mike Messina to the plate. And the pitch on the way with Redmond running. There's the throw down to second by Posada. Redmond has the stolen base. His 7th. Tyke Redmond taking off immediately on the first pitch thrown to Markakis. A strike called to Nick. But Redmond in scoring position. So Markakis with an opportunity here to pick up his 111th run of the year. Stolen base 7 for Tyke Redmond. Messina gets the sign from Posada. Redmond has his lead at second base. Mike with that big waist bend now stands tall, delivers to Markakis. Fastball inside. 1-1 to the Orioles right fielder. Markakis now in 10 at bats in his career against Messina, 3 hits. Markakis with that slightly open stance from the first base side batter's box has Redmond at second base. Orioles trailing by 3, 4-1. 1 out, bottom of the third. And the Messina delivery to Nick. Fastball catches the knees in the inside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Markakis. Fastball at 89 above the knees and just tickling the black part of the plate. Redmond with a base hit and a steal. He's at second base. A 1-2 count to Markakis. Messina, the 38-year-old right-hander, ready to deal to the youngster. Messina's pitch to Markakis. He slices one over the leap of third baseman Alex Rodriguez into left field. Now, terrific job of hitting there by Nick Markakis. Pitch in on the hands, and Markakis lifted it in slicing fashion over the third baseman, A-Rod. And he has his 2nd hit tonight. So he is 2 for 2. Miguel Tejada dribbled one back to the mound his first at bat. Now Miggy has a chance to pick up an RBI with runners at first and third. So singles by Redmond and Markakis, and the Orioles have something cooking against Messina after the Yankees scored 4 in the top of the inning to grab a 4-1 lead. Tejada, who has outstanding numbers, 4 home runs in his career against Messina. The pitch, fastball, and a strike call. 49 at bats for Miguel with 19 hits, and as we mentioned, 4 of them home runs. He has hit 18 round trippers this year, just 1 so far this month of September. Messina shakes off one sign from Posada, now agrees to the other. Messina's pitch on the way. Nope, quick throw to first, and Markakis gets back to first base. On the SK out of town scoreboard up in Boston, Boston in the top of the fourth leading the Minnesota Twins 3-1. Don't forget their magic number is 2 to wrap up the American League East. Mike Mussina will deal 1 strike to Miguel Tejada. Runners at first and third. The pitch on the way to Miggy. Hit high and foul down the right side. Racing back is Mientkiewicz. He won't get to it. It's about 5 rows deep into the stands, lower deck, right side. So the first baseman Mientkiewicz and the second baseman Cano sprinted after the ball, but it's out of their reach. And Tejada down in the count, 0-2. Miguel Tejada on this homestand, 6 for 18. His average at 297. Chance here to get a run in with Redmond at third base, Markakis at first, and 1 down. Aubrey Huff waits on deck. Mussina with that characteristic bend at the waist now stands tall. Pitch on the way to Miguel. Up and in with a fastball. Rocks him back. Shoulders high, and Tejada rocked back from the plate by that 88-mile-an-hour fastball. So the 1-2 count. Mussina working from that first base side of the slab. Gets the sign from Posada. Tyke Redmond with his lead at third. Markakis from first. The 1-2 pitch on the way to Miguel Tejada. There goes Markakis. Ground ball wide to third. Picked up there by A-Rod. He throws to first. He gets Tejada. Coming in to score from third base is Redmond. It's a 4-2 Yankees lead. Into second base, Nick Markakis. Well, ball wide of third base. Sprinting to his glove side left was Alex Rodriguez. He reached down, got it in the fingertips of the glove, stumbled a bit, but then the 360 spin and the throw to first to get Tejada. But Tejada gets Tyke Redmond in from third base. A 2-run Yankees lead with Markakis at second base, 2 out, and Aubrey Huff coming to the plate. Aubrey tonight, a fly ball to left field. Huff had a couple of doubles in last night's ball game. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Delivery to Aubrey Huff, down and away. 1-0 to Huff, who is in 48 at-bats against Mussina. Has had 13 hits, 1 home run. So far this month, just 1 home run for Aubrey Huff. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Orioles trailing 4-2 with 2 out and a runner at second. Huff takes the breaking ball for a strike in on the hands, but it caught the corner of the plate as it went by. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mussina gets the sign from Posada. Mike holds the set away from the body, looks back at Markakis, delivers to Huff high and away. Came in off speed, and Huff didn't chase the pitch well above the shoulders. 2 balls and 1 strike. In the National League, top of the 5th, the Cubs 2, Cincinnati nothing. Meanwhile, San Diego and Milwaukee underway with a scoreless ball game in the bottom of the 1st in Milwaukee. Philadelphia and the Nationals still scoreless, top of the 5th in Philadelphia. The 2-1 pitch to Huff, high and away again, and Huff didn't chase. Another off-speed delivery from Mussina. New York Mets have scored twice so far in the bottom of the 3rd. They now trail Florida by 1, 4-3. Carlos Beltran with his 33rd home run of the year for New York. Hermida his 18th so far for the Florida Marlins. Markakis at second base, 3-1 the count to Aubrey Huff. The pitch on the way with 2 down, and Huff takes ball 4 outside. Orioles with runners at first and second, and Melvin Mora will come up. Mora hit a fly ball to Abreu in right field, his lone at bat. Melvin has had 5 hits over his last 17. He's had a good month of September. Coming into this ball game, hitting .342 this month. Overall, a .275 batting average. Mussina's at second base. Huff at first. 2 down, a run in for the Orioles. They trail at 4-2, bottom of the 3rd. Mike Mussina, deliberate on the hill, sets. Looks back at Markakis, delivers to Mora, fastball down the middle for a strike, 0-1. Melvin Mora, in his looks at Mike Mussina over the years, has had 40 official plate appearances with 13 hits and a home run. Mora waves that bat at the plate, right-handed batter. Mussina will look back at Markakis, delivered to Mora, big bounding ball to A-Rod at third. He will run to the bag to beat Markakis there for the final out. But the Orioles do get a run here in the bottom of the third after the Yankees scored 4 in the top of the inning. We head to the top of the fourth. New York 4, Orioles 2 on the Orioles Radio Network. Well, a reminder that tomorrow the Orioles are planning some very special giveaways as part of the 2007 Fan Appreciation Weekend. 5 lucky fans will be selected at random and will receive either a pair of season tickets for 2008, a catered suite for a 2008 game, autographed game-used memorabilia, or a Pioneer 50-inch HD plasma television. That's all tomorrow here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. For your tickets, call 888-848-BIRD or visit Orioles.com. John Lester delivers, and the first pitch slammed deep to right field but pulled foul off the bat of Robinson Cano. Now, Cano jumped on that breaking ball and pulls it. Strike one to Robinson, who hit into that double play. His first at bat, he lined to center field, and for some reason Jorge Posada was racing to third base and got doubled off at second. The 0-1 pitch to the left-handed batting second baseman way outside. 1-1 to Cano. Over his last 70 games, he has been some kind of hot at the plate, hitting just about 350. On the year, a 304 mark with 19 homers. He is driven in 94, way outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Cano. Cano, Minkiewicz, and then the top of the order, Johnny Damon. The Orioles took a 1-0 lead on a Scott Moore base hit in the second, but then the Yankees scored 4 in the top of the third. The Orioles answered with 1 in the bottom of the inning. Here's a strike at the knees on the outside corner to even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. John Lester working for the Orioles. Mike Mussina on the hill for the New Yorkers. Cano out of the box, now back out again. He's just about ready to settle himself in that first base side batter's box, and then decided to back out. Now he awaits the 2-2 pitch from John Lester. Right-hander over the head, the kick and the delivery, and Cano swings and misses. He is gone, the 4th strikeout for John Lester. He got him on a breaking ball down and in. Doug Minkiewicz will step in now. Minkiewicz singled and scored back in inning number 3, last inning for the Yankees. Yankees scored 2 on a Derek Jeter base hit, and then A-Rod hit his 54th home run of the year. That with Jeter aboard. Minkiewicz hitting .278. Pitch to the veteran first baseman, hit foul behind the plate, not a play. Minkiewicz getting a lot of action at first base, mainly because of his glove, but he's been doing a terrific job down the stretch for the Yankees at the plate. Hitting over .450 this month. Pitch to the left-handed bat, and Minkiewicz takes a strike on the outside corner. So quickly, Lester gets ahead 0-2. The 2-strike delivery, and Minkiewicz looks at the fastball upstairs. So the count 1-2. As we watch the monitor, we see Ron Guidry, the pitching coach for the Yankees, on the phone to the bullpen. See if there's some stirring out there, or whether it's just a conversational call. Right now, nothing going on, as Mussina has given up 2 runs on 6 hits through 3 innings. Here's the Lester 1-2 delivery, and Minkiewicz takes a Ramon Hernandez ready to throw down to Melvin Mora to indicate a strike 3, but Larry Vanover did not give the call to Lester. And the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Minkiewicz. Here's John's 2-2 delivery, and Minkiewicz hits a high fly ball. Center field, racing back is Redmond. He will slow down, get to the ball just before the warning track, reach high over his head and make the grab. And Minkiewicz hit it hard and high to center field, but Redmond had plenty of time to get back and make the grab for out number 2. Johnny Damon steps in now. Damon has doubled and scored in 2 at-bats tonight. Johnny now has hit in 4 consecutive games. His average at .269. Pitch to the left-handed batting center fielder. Damon swings and misses. Going after that fastball down around the knees. The Lester delivery, and Damon bounces it in the hole at short. Up with it is Tejada. His throw to first. Out at first base signals Dana DeMute, the crew chief. And that's going to cause Tony Pena and Johnny Damon to say something to the first base umpire. Well, it was close. Appeared to me that Damon had the bag, but DeMute said it went the Orioles' way, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for John Lester. We go to the bottom of the fourth. New York 4, Orioles 2 on the Orioles Radio Network. You know, the bottom third of the order for the Orioles, Ramon Hernandez, Jay Payton, and Scott Moore against Mike Messina. Ramon, the lone strikeout tonight for Messina, and a swing and a foul back and out of play off to the right side. 0-1 to Ramon. Ramon watched strike three as the second out in the second, but then the Jay Payton triple and Scott Moore's single scored the Orioles' first run. At that time, they had a 1-0 lead. Now it's Yankees 4, Orioles 2, playing in the bottom of the fourth. The pitch to Ramon Hernandez is low, 1 ball and 1 strike. SK out of town scoreboard after 3 now at Shea. Florida continues to lead, but it's now a 1-run 4-3 lead. Phillies and the Mets, of course, in a flat-footed tie for first. Ramon hits a high drive deep to left field, but plenty of room for the left fielder Matsui as he goes toward left center, and well in front of the warning track makes the grab. So 1 gone. Scoreless ball game, bottom of the fifth at Philadelphia between the Phils and the Nationals. Chicago Cubs have a 4-0 lead now at Cincinnati in the bottom of the fifth inning. Soriano hits his 32nd, Lee his 22nd for Chicago. Jay Payton tripled beyond the right fielder Bobby Abreu his first at bat. Jay hitting .257. The pitch. He fists him, rolls slowly to third. Up with it is Alex Rodriguez. His throw to first, 2 down. So quickly 2 Orioles retired here in inning number 4, and Scott Moore will step in. Fourth inning of Orioles baseball is brought to you by Ferris Baker Watts, doing business in Baltimore for more than a century. We want your business. We'll earn your trust. Well, the Orioles this year have a winning record so far against this New York ball club. Orioles 4-2 here at Camden Yards, 4-5 at Yankee Stadium for an 8-7 record overall. Moore takes a fastball strike on the inside corner. The Orioles, the last time they celebrated a season victory against this Yankee ball club was back in 1997. Of course, this is the first of the final 3 games of the year for the Orioles. Pitch to the left-handed batter, a fastball strike over the plate. 0-2 quickly to Scott Moore. Scott at first base. Moore has now had 9 hits in 39 Oriole at-bats. A home run, that was that grand slam against Boston. 10 runs driven in for the left-handed batter. The 0-2 delivery to Scott Moore. He gets him on the inside corner. As it came back and got the corner, Moore does not like the call by Larry Vanover. Nonetheless, the Orioles go 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the fourth. Second strikeout tonight for Mike Messina. We head to the 5th inning. New York 4, Orioles 2 on the Orioles Radio Network. Well, after 4 innings, 4 runs, 6 hits for New York. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Orioles. 3 left by the Yankees, 4 by the Birds. We go to the 5th once again. Here's Joe Angel.
All right, Mr. Manfred, thank you. Well, 2 of the Yankee runs here tonight knocked in by this guy right here, Derek Jeter. As Lester delivers, and Jeter takes it low and inside, ball 1. So Jeter and then Bobby Abreu and then Alex Rodriguez here for the Yankees in the top of the 5th inning. Yankees 4 runs, 6 hits. Orioles a couple of runs on 6 hits. Right-handed John Lester winds and delivers 1-0, and Jeter takes it right there at the knees. That's a called strike. Melvin Mora, Miguel Tejada, Brian Roberts, and Scott Moore third to first. Ramon Hernandez doing the catching. Payton in left, Redmond in center, and Markakis in right. And now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Jeter fouls it away, and they're behind the plate, and the count is 1-2. Lester has given up those 6 hits. He's had 4 strikeouts in this game. He has walked a couple. But in this game, Jeter with a 2-run single, and then Rodriguez with a 2-run home run And all of that damage done in the third. And now the 1-2 delivery. He struck, came out looking. And Jeter is not at all happy about the call. Fastball at 92. There's some pretty good sinking action to it. Jeter looked that ball right into Ramon's mitt. And, well, let's just say he got the low strike. And Jeter shakes his head and is back in the Yankee dugout.
Kind of interesting how he expresses displeasure. Didn't look at the home plate umpire, but kind of over the shoulder talked to him as he walked back toward the third base side dugout.
Yeah, no eye-to-eye contact. And now here's Bobby Abreu. And Abreu takes the ball a little bit low and outside. It was almost as if Jeter was saying, that call was not worthy of me looking at you. So I'll just say a couple of words as I walk away. And now Abreu takes a little bit low. We count 2-0. Abreu in the game tonight, a double and a strikeout. So he's gone 1 for 2. Came in with a batting average of .282. His next RBI will be number 100 for Bobby Abreu. And he takes a fastball just outside. If he gets it this weekend, the Yankees will have 3 100 RBI men. And if Robbie Cano all of a sudden has a phenomenal weekend, he could get to 100. I mean, he came in with 94. Here's a 3-0 delivery, and he walked him. So that time Lester got the low ball. Against Jeter, he got the low strike. All right, Lashley. Lashley is demanding yet another station break. So we'll take a pause for station identification on the Orioles radio network. Here's Alex Rodriguez. Pitch on the way to him. There's a liner into left center. That's a gapper. It's extra bases. And it may knock in a run. Abreu to third being waved in. Here comes no relay. Tejada holds it. And Abreu slides in safely. It's a 5-2 Yankee lead. Alex Rodriguez with a double. His third RBI tonight. And 154 for the year. And now here's Matsui. I thought for a second, though, they'd have a chance to maybe get Abreu at the plate, but Abreu got a pretty good breakaway at first base, and the ball hit the gap out there in left center. By the time the ball got back into Miguel Tejada, he had no play, although Abreu slid in without a throw. And now here's Matsui with A-Rod out there at second base. Well, up until he hit that home run with a man aboard back in the third inning, Alex Rodriguez had been 0 for his last 11 against the Orioles. Here comes the pitch. Matsui takes it a little bit low. Remember, early in the season, A-Rod got off to just a blistering start against the Orioles. It seemed like he was hitting a home run every time up there, but then the Orioles got to him. But now tonight, Rodriguez has gotten back to the Orioles. Now the next offering, Matsui lines it over Moore. That's a base hit. A-Rod being waved in. Up with the ball, Markakis, and he gets it back into second base. A-Rod scores. 6-2 New York. And again, Lester got that ball up a little bit. Matsui turned on it. Scott Moore jumped in back of the bag at first base. Couldn't get to it. Came up maybe a foot short. And now Posada up there with a couple of runs in. And now Moore comes in to have a couple of words with Lester to give the bullpen a little time to get ready out there.
Now for a second time tonight, Victor Zambrano begins to throw in the Oriole pen.
Now Posada in this game with a walk and a single. And now Tremblay comes out. He's going to make a pitching change right now. As he walks out, and just as he leaves the warning track out there in front of the Oriole dugout, he immediately signals out toward the bullpen. And so Victor Zambrano is coming on to pitch. Lester tonight against the Yankees went 2 scoreless. But then since that second inning, The Yankees have hit him hard. His stuff tonight just was not good enough. So the Yankees ahead 6-2. Back with more play-by-play after this.
Jorge Posada will be the first Yankee to face Zambrano. And as we go to the at-bat for the switch-hitting catcher, my pleasure to turn it back to Joe Angel.
All right, fair. Thank you. Zambrano against Posada. Posada up there will hit left-handed. The Yankees are ahead 6-2. Posada tonight, the walk and the single. Zambrano delivers, and Posada takes way outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Now, the last time we saw Victor Zambrano was in that start against the Blue Jays just a couple of days ago. Not good. Here comes the pitch. Posada takes low and outside, ball 2.
Well, remembering back to that night, he could not throw a strike. He was falling behind everybody, and he paid a dear price very early.
Well, the Blue Jays sent 13 hitters up there in the first inning. Zambrano got 2 outs and never got out of the first. And Posada takes low. The count 3-0. And of course, he started that game by hitting Reed Johnson on the very first pitch of the game. And after that, it got worse. Here comes the 3-0 delivery. Posada takes ball 4. Zambrano right now looking just like we saw him 2 days ago. So if you're striving for consistency, he's giving it to you.
Well, just 4 pitches and already a visit from Leo Mazzoni.
Now, Leo, I'm sure, thinking to himself, I was hoping there'd be at least 2 hitters before I had to come out here. But in that last appearance against the Blue Jays, Reed Johnson was hit by a pitch, and then Stairs got a walk, and then Rio singled, and then the big hurt Thomas hit a sacrifice fly, and then Hill singled, and then with the bases loaded, Greg Zaun got a walk, and then Lind singled home a couple of runs. There was another walk in the inning, and then 3 more hits in that inning. Zambrano took a very early shower. Leo Mazzoni back in the Oriole dugout, and now Giambi is up there today. Yankees with 2 aboard, a couple of runs in here in the 5th, and got a 6-2 lead. Giambi with a walk and a strikeout tonight, 0 for 1. And he takes low for ball 1. Or should I say ball 5. Now Giambi digs in. Now Zambrano started a quick pitch Giambi. And Giambi noticed it and backed away, calling time. Now he digs in. And here comes the pitch. And there's ball 6. Zambrano has missed on 6 consecutive pitches. Now they set the 2-0 pitch. And there's ball 7. So Giambi digs in, the count 3-0. Zambrano delivers. In there for a call strike. So the count 7-1.
Now Giambi in his career has had 8 hits and 27 at bats against Victor with 3 home runs.
Uh-oh. Here comes the 3-1 delivery. Fly ball into center, shallow, coming on Redmond. He'll get there toward the gap in left center, makes the catch. So Giambi retired after 3-0 to 3-1, and then it got Giambi to hit that ball off the end of the bat. So 2 gone here in the 5th, and now here's the second baseman Robbie Cano. On the SK scoreboard in the bottom of the 5th inning, the Phillies scored 3 times. They lead Washington 3-0. At the same time, the Mets are trailing Florida 6-3 at the end of 4 at Shea Stadium. A Phillies win and a Mets loss, and the Phillies will be the Eastern Division leaders. Ground ball toward right field. Roberts a dive, and that's a base hit to right field. Matsui being waved in. Markakis throws him to second base. He throws it past Tejada, but Mora is backing up. And there's no further play. Cano gets a hit. And the Yankees now lead 7-2.
Well, that base hit and RBI pushes Cano just 5 short of the 100 RBI mark now.
And now here's Mitkevich. He's gone 1 for 2. Well, the Orioles just get into these innings, and of course the pitching is certainly not major league quality. And the Orioles get into these innings, and then once they get in these kinds of innings, they just can't get out of them. And now Mitkevich takes a ball that's in the dirt, and that was almost a wild pitch. Nicely saved there by the catcher Hernandez. So it is 1-0 to Mitkevich. Posada is out there at second base. Cano is at first base after driving in his 95th run. Now the 1-0 pitch. Mitkevich lines it down the right field line, but he hooked it foul. Even up at 1-1. So again, the Cubs lead Cincinnati 4-0 in the 6th inning behind Carlos Zambrano, who has held Cincinnati scoreless on 6 hits in 6 innings so far. Alfonso Soriano hit number 32 for the Cubs. Derek Lee hit number 22 for Chicago in that game. And yeah, the Florida Marlins scored a couple of runs in the top of the 4th. They lead the Mets now 6-3. Jeremy Hermida with a home run for Florida. Carlos Beltran hit one for the Mets, his 33rd. Here comes the 1-1 delivery, and Mitkevich fouls it back. That'll be out of play. Also in the National League, at the end of 2, Houston with a 1-0 lead over Atlanta in an inconsequential game. In a really important game, Arizona 1-0 over Colorado, with the Diamondbacks now hitting in the top of inning number 3 in Denver. The Rockies are looking for their 12th consecutive victory. Mitkevich takes a breaking ball low. We'll count 2-2 now. In that game for Arizona, Brandon Webb is on the hill, trying to become an 18-game winner. Of course, Arizona with a 1-game lead in that division. Colorado 2 games out, but they got 3 games head-to-head against Arizona. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball struck, came out looking. But the Yankees get 3 more, and they do it on 3 hits, couple of walks, and they leave 2. Now the Orioles coming up. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. New York ahead 7-2. This is the Oriole Radio Network. Well, the Orioles are at the top of the order now as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. And so it'll be Ryan Roberts, Tyke Redmond, and then Nick Markakis against right-hander Mike Messina. Orioles in this game had a 1-0 lead until the Yankees came up with 4 runs in the top of inning number 3, and they've led since. Brian Roberts tonight 1 for 2. He's had a single and he's flied to left. Brian, who has 3 hits in his last 18 at bats, and he takes one at the knees. That's a call strike. Alex Rodriguez very shallow at third base. The Yankees right now with a 7-2 lead. Pitch on the way. Roberts takes one a little bit too high. And is even up at 1-1. The Yankees, of course, for the season, really amazing. Their turnaround. I mean, they won 92 games after that 21-29 start. They've been the best team in baseball since that start. There's a high fly ball. Medium deep right field. Heading to the corner is Bobby Abreu. This ball hit very high, and finally Abreu makes the catch. And Roberts skies out. And now here's Tyke Redmond. Well, the Yankees had that horrendous start and somehow kept it together. And now in the postseason, now for their 13th consecutive year. And of course, Joe Torre has been at the helm of this ball club for 12 consecutive postseason appearances. And by the way, the most for any manager in American League history for Joe Torre. Redmond hits a grounder over the bag at first base. Mitkevich made a dive, couldn't get to it. That ball is heading for the corner. Redmond is heading for second base. He's in there standing. The ball back in finally. Redmond with 2 hits tonight. A double in the 5th inning, and that'll bring up Nick Markakis. That ball hit hard right over the bag at first base at that knuckle curve, and Redmond waited on that knuckle curve beautifully. And now here's Markakis. That's a Joe Torre in the postseason, 12th appearance in postseason play with the Yankees, all beginning in 1996. And 12 consecutive playoff appearances, is second all-time only to Bobby Cox of the Atlanta Braves. Markakis takes a knuckle curve a little bit too low. Of course, Bobby Cox made the postseason 14 consecutive seasons. So Joe Torre is kind of working on that too. Although it's going to be interesting. He's in the final year of his contract. It'll be fun to watch how George Steinbrenner handles that situation. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Markakis hits a ground ball towards second base. Cano with a lunging stab, the spin, and the throw, and the out at first base. Markakis retired 4-3.
Well, when you consider back on May 29th, the Yankees were 8 games under 500 and 14 and a half out. I think Torre has done a pretty good job.
Well, it could be a situation where Joe Torre, I mean, there was a lot of talk last year that Steinbrenner had already made up his mind to fire Joe Torre after last season. It got in the papers. I mean, there's all kinds of hullabaloo about that. So it could be that Joe Torre may have done his finest job this year to get the Yankees again into the postseason. There's Tejada now up there, and he takes a little bit low. It could be, after all is said and done, that Joe Torre may turn around and say, hey, thanks, but no thanks, I'm done. Especially if the Yankees go out a winner. Now we'll see how far they get in the postseason. I mean, the biggest criticism of the Yankees recent years has been their inability to extend into the playoffs. And now Tejada takes low, and they count 2-0. I mean, they've been getting knocked out in the playoffs. Tejada in this game's 0 for 2. A couple of ground balls, one of which picked up an RBI. So Tejada now with 80 RBIs this year. Messina behind him at 2-0. Here comes the pitch. Tejada hits a bounder deep third, back into A-Rod. Has it. The long throw on a bounce, and the ball gets away from Mankiewicz. Redmond comes in to score to make it 7-3 Yankees. Tejada with what should be an infield single to pick up his 81st RBI. Now, by the time Rodriguez gloved it behind the bag at third base, he was way behind the bag and right on top of the foul line. And by the time he got rid of it, he tried to make that one bounce throw, but Mankiewicz just couldn't quite come up with that thing. And I imagine they're going to give Tejada an infield single. Yep, they will. And now here's Huff with 2 outs. Big swing and a miss. Wow. Aubrey Huff. Boy, you talk about winding up to try to hit a ball. He took the hardest swing I've seen him take all year. I mean, that one hurt me.
That's one of those swings you need a chiropractor after you take.
Oh, man. Get me an appointment. That was the hardest swing I've ever seen him take. There's the 0-1 delivery. Ooh, look out. Up under the elbows. Even up at 1-1 now to Aubrey Huff. Huff in this game's 0 for 1 with a base on balls. Yankees ahead 7-3 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Arizona now with a 3-0 lead over Colorado in the 3rd in Denver. Here comes the pitch. Huff takes a very high fastball. Then to the Rockies on that winning streak, looking for the 12th consecutive victory, but right now they trail 3-0. If Arizona hangs on to win that game, the Rockies will be eliminated from any division consideration. But the Rockies still alive in the wild card chase. I mean, right now the Phillies and the Rockies are tied. They're 1 game behind San Diego in the wild card race. Well, the catcher Posada goes out to talk with Messina, now back behind the plate. Aubrey Huff with the count of 2-1. Yankees ahead 7-3. Tejada is at first 2 outs. Here's the pitch. And this one just above the letters. 3-1. Melvin Mora will hit next, but there were 2 outs. Huff with 15 home runs, 71 RBI. He's had just 2 hits in his last 22 at bats. Here's the pitch. Fouled away, off to the left. The count 3-2. So on this next offering, Tejada will be on the move here. I mean, Huff only 2 for his last 22, but his last 48 games hitting over 340. So he was hot for a long time. It's just lately that he's cooled off again. Up there with the count of 3-2. Tejada will be running here. Infield backed up with 2 outs. Yankees ahead 7-3. Messina okays the sign. He will set. He will deliver. There's a liner into left center. That is a gapper, and that ball will go to the Bunt light sign. Tejada turning third. He loses the batting helmet, and he scores standing. Aubrey Huff into second to make it a 7-4 ball game. Aubrey Huff with his 72nd RBI.
Well, for Aubrey, his 3rd double in 2 games.
Well, he got a sinking fastball. It was down and away. And Huff went with the pitch. Hit the ball real hard to left center. And now Melvin Mora has a chance to make it a 2-run game. And Miguel Tejada, as he raced around third, ran right from under his batting helmet, which he kept on as he ran the bases. Now Melvin takes that knuckle curve in there for a call strike.
And as that helmet came off, flying off the head of Miguel Tejada, it hit his heel and he kicked it away as he ran down that third base line.
Man, he was motoring. And of course, running on 3-2, he scored easily. Melvin Mora, 0-1. Huff is out there at second base. And Mora trying to pick him up with 2 outs. Melvin tonight is 0 for 2. And Messina delivers. This one is low and outside, a ball. But the Orioles now with 4 runs and 9 hits against Mike Messina tonight. Meanwhile, the Boston Red Sox, at the end of 6, they now lead Minnesota 4-0. Daisuke Matsuzaka has held the Twins to just 4 hits in 6 innings. And he had been struggling. Matsuzaka had won only 1 game in his last 8 starts, but he's winning tonight. Here comes the pitch. Liner over short. That's a base hit, and that'll drive in a run. Aubrey Huff is coming in to score. The throw coming into second base. It's a 2-run game. Yankees ahead 7-5 now as Mora gets it done with 2 outs.
Right-hander Ross Ohlendorf now up and throwing for the Yankees in their pen.
Mike Messina giving it up here in the 5th inning. And he has not yet qualified for the win.
So with Ohlendorf thrown in the pen, Ron Guidry out to talk to Mike Messina to allow the guy in that bullpen to get a few extra pitches, and now the Gator will head back to that third base side visitors dugout.
Melvin Mora continues to have success against Mike Messina and against the Yankees. I mean, Melvin against Messina in his career hitting about 340, and against the Yankees this season hitting about 380. Well, a big 2-out single to make it a 2-run game. Orioles are right back in this thing, and now Hernandez up there to try to extend the inning. Now Messina sets. He delivers, and Ramon lines it down the left field line. That's going to be extra bases. That ball is headed for the corner. Mora into third, being waved in by Samuel. Here comes the relay. Nope. Jeter dropped the ball. Ramon to third. The tag by Rodriguez. They got him. And the side retired. But the run scores. Hernandez with a double to pick up an RBI to make it a 1-run game. The Yankees ahead 7-6 now, as they get to Messina, who survives the 5th inning, as Ramon is tagged out at third base. When the ball got away from Jeter, Hernandez took off for third. Jeter got the ball to Rodriguez, who tagged out Ramon. All right, back at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Now the Yankees are coming up at the top of the 6th inning, and all of a sudden it's a 1-run game. Yankees ahead 7-6. Yankees have the top of the order coming up to hit. Back with the play-by-play. Let's get back to Fred Manfro.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Well, the Orioles went to that bottom of the 5th inning, trailing 7-2, but 4 runs scored against Mike Messina in the inning. And now here in the 6th, Victor Zambrano, who took over last inning for John Lester, delivers the first pitch to Johnny Damon. It's downstairs for ball 1. Damon, Jeter, and Abreu, top third of the order for New York. Zambrano's kick and the pitch, and Damon hits a high drive. It's gone. It's going, and gone. Looks like it went through the open gate out onto Utah Street. So Johnny Damon, as the Orioles have pulled to within 1, gives the Yankees now a 2-run lead with his 12th home run of the year. And boy, that's inexcusable. You pull within 1, and the first batter in the very top of the next inning goes deep, and here you're back trailing by 2. So Damon with his 12th home run, his 62nd RBI, his second hit tonight, second run he scored. And Derek Jeter will step in now. Jeter with a 2 RBI single back in the 3rd. And the pitch to the right-handed batter, ball 1 outside. Here's the Zambrano delivery to Jeter, a strike on the outside corner. So 1 ball and 1 strike. So Derek Jeter, after that, towering home run off the bat of Johnny Damon.
I'll tell you what, you don't see Johnny Damon hit a ball that far very often. I mean, that one landed on Utah Street on a fly.
Here's the 1-1 pitch, ball 2.
It took the H out of Utah. He hit that ball so hard. I mean, that was a Barry Bonds look-alike home run.
Well, Rob Bell begins to throw on the Oriole bullpen. They measure that at 390 feet on the home run. Here's the 2-1 offering to Jeter. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So it's an 8-6 lead for the New York Yankees. Yankees have hit 2 home runs. The Damon home run, a solo shot, and the 2-run blast off the bat of A-Rod.
390?
That's with the estimated distance.
Looked about 420 to me.
Here's the 2-2 delivery. Swing and a miss. He strikes him out with a breaking ball down and away. So Jeter's gone. Before Abreu steps in, we'll step out for 10 seconds for station identification on the Orioles Radio Network. Now the Orioles trailing 8-6. 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Leadoff home run by Johnny Damon. A power hitter's shot out toward Utah Street. And here is Bobby Abreu. Abreu has doubled, struck out, walked, and scored. And the delivery is ball 1 to Bobby Abreu. John Lester started, went 4 1/3, gave up 7 of the 8 runs. Pitch to Abreu is a breaking ball low. 2 balls and no strikes. Victor Zambrano then came on here in the 5th inning, and we're now on the 6th. Orioles out hitting the Yankees 11-10. Boston with a 4-1 lead, top of the 7th against Minnesota at Fenway. Fly ball left field, backing up, and now under it is Jay Payton as he taps the glove to make the grab for out number 2. Now A-Rod will come up. He has had a 3 RBI night, a 2-run home run in the 3rd, and a double to drive in a run in that 3-run 5th for New York. A-Rod with 4 home runs and 14 driven in against the Orioles this year. Alex Rodriguez having a terrific year, hitting .311. Here's a breaking ball for a strike. 54 home runs and 154 knocked in. Victor Zambrano on the way, 1 strike, and Alex Rodriguez takes the fastball inside, 1-1. SK out of town scoreboard. Philadelphia has increased its lead to 4-0 after 6 against the Washington Nationals. The 1-1 offering to A-Rod. He swings late and fouls it out of play off to the right side. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Meanwhile, the New York Mets at home at Shea Stadium, they trail the Florida Marlins in the top of the 6th, 7-4. A win by Philadelphia, and the Phillies grab sole possession of the top spot in the National League East. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way to Alex Rodriguez. Breaking ball downstairs. 2-2. Now the home run off the bat of Johnny Damon, the 40th home run in the history of this ballpark to reach Utah Street. First home run this season out near Boog's Barbecue out there. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Swing and a miss. Gets him on that breaking ball down and away. So after the leadoff home run to Johnny Damon, strikeouts of Jeter and Rodriguez and a flyout by Abreu. So that's it for New York as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Yankees 8, Orioles 6 on the Orioles radio network. Well, Mike Mussina will pitch no more for the Yankees tonight. He goes 5 innings, 6 runs earned, 11 hits, a couple of strikeouts, and a walk. And Ross Ohlendorf will come on to go to work. Ohlendorf has appeared 4 games for the Yankees with no record and a 2.45 ERA. Ohlendorf pitched 26 games with Single-A Tampa and Triple-A Scranton Wilkesboro this year. Went 4-4 with an ERA above 4. He pitched in a couple of postseason games for Scranton Wilkesboro. It was 0-1. He was acquired by the Yankees along with Steven Jackson, Luis Vizcaíno, and infielder Alberto Gonzalez in exchange for Randy Johnson. The pitch on the way and bunted first base side, a hard bunt right to Minkiewicz, the first baseman, who gets to the bag to touch it. So 1 pitch and Jay Payton is retired. And that ball was extremely hard as it made contact with the bat, rolling right to the first baseman, Minkiewicz. So Jay Payton is gone. And now Scott Moore will come up. Moore has an RBI single and 2 at-bats tonight. Ross Ohlendorf, a right-hander, working to the left-handed bat of the Oriole first baseman. The pitch. And sliced foul out of play, 1 strike. Well, I want to remind you that Amber Theo Harris asks you to join her Sunday, October 7th in Washington, D.C. to participate in the Walk for Hope fight against breast cancer. You can find out more by going to massinsports.com, way inside, and click on the link to Walk for Hope. It's only a 2K walk, so anybody can participate. And when you do, you receive a free Orioles cap and a chance to win tickets to Orioles opening day next year. Some Orioles memorabilia. Fastball down and in. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Scott Moore. Some Brian Roberts autograph memorabilia, Miguel Tejada stuff. So, again, check in at massinsports.com. Here's the 2-1 pitch on the way. Swing and a foul straight back to the screen. So it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count to Scott. Moore now with 10 runs driven in as an Oriole. And before the ball game, Dave Tremblay talking about Scott Moore, and he's like what he's seen so far since being acquired from the Cubs in the Steve Traxel deal, along with Rocky Cherry. 2-2 pitch to the left-handed batter, a breaking ball downstairs, and the count runs full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. You know, 2 runs for Minnesota in the top of the 7th, and it's now a 4-2 Boston lead. Justin Morneau with his 31st home run for the Twins. 3-2 to Scott Moore, the Orioles' 9th place hitter. Ohlendorf on the way to Moore. A pop foul, third base side, racing over and watching it drift out of play on the trio of Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, and Hideki Matsui as it went about 5-6 rows into the lower deck down the left side. So the count remains 3 balls, 2 strikes to Scott. Scott has had 1 home run as an Oriole. That was that grand slam against the Boston Red Sox. Couple of doubles as the RBI single tonight in 2 at-bats. The 3-2 pitch on the way to Scott Moore. Hit hard and into right field beyond the dive of Minkiewicz at first base. So Moore, solid contact beyond the first baseman. He has his 2nd hit tonight. And now Brian Roberts will step in. Brian singled his first at bat against Mike Mussina, then lifted fly balls to left and right in his other 2 at bats against Moose. SK out of town scoreboard. San Diego and Milwaukee now tied in the top of the 4th. 2 runs apiece. That game being played in Milwaukee. Florida continues to lead at Shea 7-4 in the top of the 6th. The Cubs with a 4-0 lead top of the 8th at Cincinnati. Here's the pitch to Bryant. Pops him up behind the plate, coming back and watching it out of play is Jorge Posada. So 1 strike to Brian Roberts. 96-mile-an-hour fastball from Ross Ohlendorf. Defensively for the Yankees, Alex Rodriguez at third, Derek Jeter at short, Cano at second, Mankiewicz at first, Posada catching. Matsui in left, Damon in center, Abreu in right. Here's the 0-1 delivery all the way to Brian Roberts. Fastball outside. 1-1. Scott Moore at first base. We're in the bottom of the 6th. An 8-6 Yankees lead. Orioles out hitting New York. The Orioles have had a dozen hits tonight. Yankees 10. Ohlendorf's pitch on the way to Brian Roberts. A strike on the outside corner at the knees. So Brian down to the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Home plate umpire Larry Vanover indicating to the crowd 1 ball 2 strikes. Scoreboard says 0-2, but it's a 1-2 count to Brian. Moore with his lead at first base. The delivery 1-2 to Roberts. A swing and a miss and a breaking ball down and in, and Roberts is gone. Second out, first strikeout for Ross Ohlendorf. Tyke Redmond, he had a good 3 at-bats against Mike Mussina. First at bat, hit the ball pretty well to right field. But at the right fielder, Bobby Abreu, then a single and a run scored in the 3rd and a double and a run scored in the 5th. Like Redmond's average up to 328. Couple of home runs now. 8 doubles. Swing and a miss at the fastball, high and away. 96. So Ohlendorf comes in with some heat. He has a 1-strike count on Tyke Redmond. Redmond with a 6-game hit streak alive. And he will be playing center field the rest of the way. Of course, Corey Patterson shut down. Here's the 0-1 delivery to Tyke, down and in. 1 ball and 1 strike to the left-handed batter. San Diego scored 3 in the top of the 4th and now lead at Milwaukee 3-2. Philadelphia Phillies looking to take over the National League East lead tonight. They have a 4-0 lead in the bottom of the 7th at home against Washington. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Redmond. Loop toward left field, and it's in for the base hit. A 3-hit night for Tyke. He's had a couple of singles and a double in 4 at-bats, and now Nick Markakis will come up. Markakis 2 for 3 against Mike Mussina. We'll get his first look at Ross Ohlendorf. So the Orioles, who at one point led 1-0, then fell behind 4-1. Then it was a 4-2 ball game. Then a 7-2 ball game. Then the Orioles came back with 4 in the bottom of the 5th to bring it to 7-6. Then the Johnny Damon home run to lead off the 6th inning. 8-6 is where we stand now, but the Orioles threatening again. Runners at first and second. The pitch to Markakis, missing downstairs and outside. 1-0 to Nick. Markakis has upped his average a couple of points tonight with his 2 hits. Now 297 the average for Nick. 22 home runs and 110 driven in for the Orioles left-handed batting right fielder. Ohlendorf, the right-hander, sets. The pitch on the way to the left-handed batter Markakis. A fastball catches the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball in the mid-90s. Ohlendorf holds the ball in the small of the back as they reach the Posada side. Moore at second base. Redmond with speed at first. Here's the 1-1 delivery to Markakis with 2 down. Swing and a miss as Ohlendorf came in off speed, and Nick on that pitch that came in at 85 after seeing the 95-mile-an-hour fastball cranked up, and it was out in front. So 1-2 to Markakis. Ohlendorf with runners at first and second and 2 down. Pitch on the way to Nick, and Markakis swings and misses a pitch downstairs and in the dirt. Another slider, and Markakis strikes out. The Orioles strand 2 and come up empty here in the 6th inning. We head to the 7th at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. It's the Yankees 8, the Orioles 6 on the Orioles Radio Network. Well, it'll be Rob Bell to become the Oriole 3rd pitcher tonight, following Lester and Zambrano. And the first batter he will face for New York is Hideki Matsui. Matsui has an RBI single and 3 trips. Matsui now with 103 knocked in. Yankees have Rodriguez with 154 RBI. Matsui 103. Cano at 95 runs driven in. Bobby Abreu 99 runs driven in. Matsui takes a breaking ball low from the right-hander Bell. 8-6 Yankees. They've hit the 2 home runs in the ball game tonight. Alex Rodriguez a 2-run blast in the 3rd inning, his 54th of the year. A pitch to Matsui right down the middle, and he watches it for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Johnny Damon out onto Utah Street with his 12th home run this season. Orioles getting runs driven in from Scott Moore. Miguel Tejada has driven in a couple. Aubrey Huff an RBI double. Mora a single to drive in a run. And Ramon Hernandez a double to drive in a run. Here's a ball outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Hideki Matsui. 285 hitter, left-handed batter. And Matsui swings and misses. And boy, he has had several sessions trying to not pull off the ball. But he has been doing that with great frequency. In fact, had a meeting the other day with Joe Torre talking about what he could do to stay in there. But he pulled off that pitch right there. The 2-2 delivery on the way to Matsui, a breaking ball that bounced in the dirt well in front of the plate and then skipped beyond the batter into the catcher's glove. So it's a 3-ball, 2-strike count to Matsui. Kyle Farnsworth begins to throw in the bullpen now for the Yankees as we play here in the top of the 7th inning. Matsui awaits the 3-2 pitch, leading off in the 7th. Hideki takes ball 4 high and away. So leadoff man on for New York. Meanwhile, in Boston, top of the 8th, it's still the Red Sox 4, Minnesota 2. The Yankees, of course, went into this ball game trailing the Boston Red Sox by 2 games in the American League East. So Boston's magic number as they play at home tonight, 2. Philadelphia has built its lead to 6-0 over the Washington Nationals in the bottom of the 7th. Ryan Howard, his 45th home run for the Phils. Swing and a miss as Jorge Posada goes after the first Rob Bell pitch. The Mets trail at home 7-4 in the bottom of the 6th at Shea. If the Mets lose and the Phils win, Philadelphia is on top of New York for the lead in the National League East. Rob Bell, the right-hander, to the plate to the switch-hitting catcher Posada, high fastball. 1-1. Matsui at first base, no one down. Jorge Posada, who's hit into 18 double plays this year, has a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Delivery to Jorge, swing and a miss. Went after the high 87-mile-an-hour fastball. 1-2. Posada tonight has been on base all 3 times, a couple of walks and a single. Jorge, open stance. Awaits the 1-ball, 2-strike offering from Rob Bell. Matsui walked to start the inning. He's at first base. And the delivery on the way to Posada inside. And the count evens, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chicago Cubs add 2 more to their total. Still batting at the top of the 8th. They now lead Cincinnati 6-0. Soriano and Lee with home runs for the Cubbies tonight. 2-2 pitch. Hit high in the air, slicing away from the left fielder, Jay Payton, but he gets over to make the grab. First out here in the 7th for New York. Jason Giambi will come up now. He is 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Milwaukee and San Diego are now tied at 3 runs apiece as they go to the top of the 5th inning in Milwaukee. Hart hits his 23rd home run for Milwaukee. Arizona and Colorado. It's an Arizona 3-1 lead in the top of the 6th. Giambi takes the pitch outside. Ball 1 to the designated hitter for Joe Torre tonight, Jason Giambi. Been an injury-plagued year and an off year offensively for Giambi, hitting just .234, 14 home runs, and he's driven in 36 runs. Left-handed batter. The Bell pitch on the way with a runner at first, down and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, tomorrow night, the Orioles' next to last game of the season. Daniel Cabrera will be on the hill for the Orioles, and Andy Pettitte will make the start for the Yankees. Here's the 2-0 delivery, and the pitch to Giambi, a fastball outside. 3 balls and no strikes. It's not expected that Pettitte will pitch very deep into that ball game, just get some work preparing for the postseason. He will be one of the 2 starters in the early games for the Yankees in the postseason. 3-0 to Giambi. Matsui at first, and Giambi takes a ball 4 outside. So the second walk of the inning and second walk given up by Rod Bell. You know, the announced attendance here tonight, 38,113. The Yankees have 2 runners on via the walk, and that will bring up Robinson Cano. Cano drove in his 95th run of the year with a single in the 5th inning. He's also hit into a double play and struck out. The double play, not his fault. He lined to center field, but a brain cramp for Jorge Posada. Runners at first and second, 1 out. And Posada took off to third. He was standing 5 feet away from third base when the catch was made by Tyke Redmond, who threw back to second base to double him up. Cano comes in with a .305 mark, 19 home runs. He has runners at first and second with 1 out. The pitch to the left-handed batting second baseman, ball 1. Cano hitting over .350 his last 70 games. He's hit in 4 consecutive games of late for the Yankees. The pitch on the way to Cano. It's ball 2 downstairs. 2 balls and no strikes. Now, we want to say a hello to our listeners on WVAX AM. That's 1450 in Charlottesville, Virginia. Thanks for being with us throughout the course of the difficult year, and hope that you'll be with us next year when things will hopefully be a lot better for the Orioles. So the folks listening on WVAX, thanks for being with us. Well, Victor Santos begins to throw in the Oriole bullpen as Leo Mazzoni comes out to the mound to talk to Rob Bell. Hey, log on to Orioles.com now and sign up to receive Warehouse Wire, the official Orioles email newsletter. With each issue, you receive the very latest in the Orioles news and hear about special promotions you won't find anywhere else. Great way to get inside information for the offseason. So sign up today. Visit Orioles.com and click on Warehouse Wire. Cano with a 2-ball, no strike count. Matsui at second base. Giambi at first, 1 down. Each reaching via the walk. The pitch to Cano, slashed foul out of play left side. 2 balls, 1 strike. Minkevich waits on deck. That game at Fenway has now gone to the bottom of the 8th inning with Boston leading the Minnesota Twins 4-2. They win and they reduce their magic number to just 1. If the Yankees lose here, then it's the American League East crown for the Red Sox, along with that Boston victory, if indeed it does come to fruition. The 2-1 pitch to Cano, ground ball to Brian Roberts. Roberts fields, spins, gets the runner at second base, and that's all they'll get. So 2 down as Giambi is erased at second. On at first is Cano, moving to third base Matsui, and that brings up the left-handed bat of Doug Minkevich. Minkevich has singled, scored a run in 3 at-bats. So the 4-6 fielder's choice gets Giambi at second base, Cano at first, and Matsui at third. Minkevich will step in now. Rob Bell, the third Oriole pitcher tonight. John Lester went 4 1/3, giving up 7 runs on 8 hits. Victor Zambrano, an inning and 2/3, a run. It was the home run by Damon. Lester gave up a 2-run home run to Alex Rodriguez. Bell sets the pitch on the way to Minkevich, over the plate but low, ball 1. As we mentioned, Victor Santos throwing in the Oriole bullpen. Kyle Farnsworth had been throwing in the Yankees bullpen. Top of the 7th inning here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, with the Yankees on top by 2, 8-6. Yankees looking for their 93rd win of the year, their 41st road victory. Rob Bell brings the hands together at the letters. The 1-0 pitch to Minkiewicz, high and away with a fastball. 2 balls and no strikes. Orioles came into this ball game 3 games under the 500 mark against teams in the American League East, 33-36. The Yankees 5 games under the 500 level, 37 wins for the Yankees this year against teams from the division. 2-0 the count, runners at first and third. The pitch to Minkiewicz bounced to the first baseman Mora. He will make the grab and then the U-turn and go to the bag for the out, and the Yankees will strand 2 here in the top of the 7th. So Rob Bell walks 2, but it doesn't hurt him as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, with New York on top of the Orioles 8-6 on the Orioles Radio Network. We move to the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Orioles trail New York by 2, 8-6, before we see Tejada, Huff, and Mora against the new Yankees pitcher Kyle Farnsworth. Let's pause for station identification on the Orioles Radio Network. He also had a change defensively for the Yankees. Jorge Posada no longer in the ball game. Molina goes behind the plate to take over. So Jose Molina, the new catcher for the New Yorkers. So a new battery. Farnsworth the pitcher, Molina the catcher. And we go to Miguel Tejada, who's had a couple of runs driven in tonight. One on a ground out, the other on a single. Farnsworth, here's a guy that can, if you're a hitter, he can drive you up a wall, or he can be wild and you can hit him. Farnsworth made his 62nd appearance of the season Tuesday in the loss at Tampa Bay. Pitched a perfect 8th inning, had a couple of strikeouts. And then in the loss to Toronto on Monday, tossed a perfect 7th inning. But he has struggled at times. In fact, he allowed a couple of hits, a couple of earned runs, and 2/3 of an inning with a walk back on the 17th of September against the Orioles. So the big right-hander Farnsworth kicks and delivers to Tejada, and the fastball is a strike at the knees, 0-1. Farnsworth, who can sometimes hit that radar gun 98, 99, sometimes tickle the 100-mile-per-hour mark, has a 93-mile-an-hour at the knees to Miguel for strike 1. Farnsworth on the way, the 1-strike pitch. Fly ball well hit the center field. Going back is Damon. He has room as he goes to the left of the 410 sign to make the grab. That was hit toward the deepest part of the ballpark, or else it would have been a 1-run Yankees lead. It allowed Damon to get back and make the catch on the long fly ball for the first out of the inning. Now Kevin Millar will come up to act as a pinch hitter for Aubrey Huff. Kevin has been struggling recently. He's just had 1 hit in 12 at-bats in the homestand. Millar on the year, 16 home runs, 62 driven in, and a .253 average. Millar 5 for 14 in his career with a couple of home runs against Farnsworth. The delivery to Kevin, fly ball, shallow left field. Coming in is Matsui. Going out the shortstop, it's the left fielder Matsui to make the grab. 2 down. Well, Millar went after the first pitch, a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Got under it. And he is out number 2. Melvin Mora will step in now. Mora 4 for 8 against this guy Farnsworth. Mora tonight an RBI single in 3 at-bats. Orioles out hitting the Yankees tonight 13-10, but trailing on the scoreboard 8-6. Bottom of the 7th inning, 2 gone. Farnsworth on the way to the right-handed bat of Mora. Fastball inside, 1 ball to Melvin. Boston Red Sox now top of the 9th inning lead Minnesota 5-2. Jonathan Papelbon, the closer, on for Boston. The 1-0 delivery to Mora. off the catcher's mask. Molina rocked back and held up from falling back on his seat by the home plate umpire, Larry Vanover, as that foul ball caught full face on that hockey goalie type mask that Molina wears, and he was almost rocked back on his haunches. But Larry Vanover kept him on his feet. And Melvin Mora allows Molina to get the head together as he walked all the way almost to the Yankee dugout third base side. Now it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count as Melvin got back in. Molina was smiling, so he's okay. Kyle Farnsworth ready to deal to the Oriole third baseman with 2 down. The pitch on the way to Melvin. Fastball high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. In that Boston game, 1 out for Minnesota in the top of the 9th inning as Papelbon gets Morneau to ground out to second base. Here's the 2-1 pitch now. Farnsworth on the way to Mora. Melvin swings and misses. It was a breaking ball down and away, and Mora sees the count even up at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Really, when a catcher gets hit like that, it's like taking a jab.
Oh, man.
Right in the face.
It has impact, I'll tell you.
It jars that neck.
Yeah, Molina's not a small guy, and he was rocked.
That could be dangerous, but he took it well. Melvin turned around and said, "Jose, can you see?"
Is it gone yet? Here's the 2-2 pitch. And Mora hits a deep drive toward right field. Abreu breaks back. He is there to make the grab, twisting as he gets to the warning track just in front of the 373 sign. So a couple of balls hit well by the Orioles. The Tejada ball to straightaway center. This one to right field off the bat of Mora. But the Orioles go 3 up, 3 down in the 7th. We head to inning number 8 at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. New York 8, Orioles 6 on the Orioles Radio Network. And let's get to the 8th inning, and Joe Angel with the Orioles trailing 8-6 to New York. And Joe.
All right, Fred. Yeah, thank you. Here's Johnny Damon. Last time we saw Johnny Damon up there, man, did he get a hold of one. Here's a swing at a foul ball. The last time up with the bases empty, Damon unloaded on a ball that was thrown by Victor Zambrano, and he hit one onto Utah Street. Landed on Utah Street. Damon swings and he fouls it back. Damon and then Jeter and then Bobby Abreu. What they say, the 40th home run on Utah Street here at Camden Yards.
I measured it, what, 390?
Right in front of the warehouse out there. Here comes the pitch. Damon, a fly ball, a pop-up actually, into shallow left field. Coming out Peyton toward the infield to make the catch. Damon is out. He's doubled. He is homered. And in this game, he is now 2 for 5. And now here's Derek Jeter. Yankees ahead 8-6, and at Fenway Park, and the final just in, the Boston Red Sox, their magic number is down to 1 as they beat Minnesota tonight 5-2 behind Daisuke Matsuzaka, who wins it to run his record to 15-12. Papelbon came in, got save number 37. David Ortiz hit home run number 35 for the Bo Sox. Chopper toward the hole. Melvin flags it down, spins and throws, got him. Jeter retired 5-3. Nicely done by Melvin Mora. And with 2 gone, now here's Bobby Abreu. So the Red Sox win. Matsuzaka, who had really been struggling in September, but he wins only the 2nd time he's won in his last 9 starts. And for the Red Sox, a big one. So now tomorrow, either a Boston win or a Yankee loss, or if the Orioles can come back here tonight and win this game, the Red Sox would be the Eastern Division champions. Now here's Bobby Abreu. Pitch on the way. And that one low and outside, ball 1. In the National League, in the bottom of the 8th inning, Philadelphia 6-0 over Washington. In that game, Ryan Howard hit number 45. And Abreu takes it a little bit too high. Also, Howard in that game struck out once. So I think that's 198 strikeouts now for Ryan Howard, which is a major league record for a single season. Abreu takes a knee-high strike. Last year, Howard struck out 181 times. This season, it looks like he's going to strike out 200 times. Here's the 2-1 delivery. And that one at the knees. That's a call strike. Of course, he also gives you, what, 45 home runs now. And he's got over 130 RBIs, too. So, hey, I'll take those strikeouts. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Abreu swing and a miss. Nope, a foul tip. Nudged it foul. He's alive.
You're talking about Matsuzaki. He went 8 innings tonight, threw 120 pitches, 8 strikeouts, couple of walks. So maybe he has his game back together at the right time for Boston as they head to the postseason.
Good timing. Ryan Howard, by the way, at least 131 RBIs so far this year to go with those 45 home runs. And remember, that was after a real slow start, too. There's a fly ball hit to deep left field. Payton at the wall. He'll jump. He cannot get to it. It bounds off the wall. Redmond will play the carom. Abreu around second. He puts on the brakes and goes right back to the bag at second. Well, Abreu, his second double tonight. As he hits it to the opposite field, Jay Payton kept backtracking out toward the warning track out there and jumped up and came up short. And so now Rodriguez will get one more at bat. Now Jay Payton didn't exactly take a classic approach to that ball. A rather awkward approach. And he's really struggled defensively the last couple of games. There's a swing and a miss by Rodriguez.
It appeared that he thought he was much closer to the wall than he actually was as he tippy-toed, went back and reached up, but it was over his head.
Let's just say defensively right now, Payton has not seen the ball real well. Got a couple of misplays last night. Here's the 0-1 delivery. A-Rod takes low and outside the ball. Now Rodriguez tonight with a strikeout his first time up, then a 2-run home run. And it was a line drive home run. And that thing got out in a hurry in the third. And then a double to pick up another RBI in the fifth. So he's gone 2 for 4. He's knocked in 3. And now with 154 RBIs to lead the majors. There's a swing and a miss. 1-2 now to the Yankee third baseman. A-Rod with 54 home runs. And now with 154 RBIs. He's hit 3 grand slams this season. And he leads the majors now with 142 runs scored. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Line drive toward left, base hit. Tejada couldn't get to it. Abreu on third. Being waved in. Here's the throw from Payton. At the plate, the tag. The ball gets by Ramon. A-Rod to second. He makes a turn, and he goes right back to the bag at second. As Bell backing up on the play at the plate. So the run is scored. And Alex Rodriguez has picked up another RBI. He's knocked in 4 tonight.
Well, that's 155 for the year, and you have to go back to 1948 for a Yankee to drive in 155 runs, and that was the Yankee Clipper, Joe DiMaggio, who did it that year in 48.
Another pretty good right-hand hitter. At least that's what I hear. I never actually saw him play, although I did go to the same high school he went to.
Oh, yeah, out in the Bay Area.
That's right.
Yeah.
I went to Galileo High School, which is where Joe DiMaggio went. That's also where Dom DiMaggio went. That's also where Gino Somoli went to high school. That's also where O.J. Simpson went to high school.
Who?
You see, I went too far.
Yeah.
Matsui's going to be walked intentionally. So the Yankees will have runners on first and second with 2 outs. And now with a 9-6 lead. Well, A-Rod tonight has singled, he has doubled, and he has homered.
He has knocked in 15 of his runs against the Orioles this year.
So Matsui gets the intentional pass. And now Jose Molina will get an at-bat. This will be his first at-bat. Remember, he came on defensively for Posada in the bottom of the 7th inning. So it'll be right-hander against right-hander. Rob Bell will go to work on Jose Molina. Posada, while he was in, was 1 for 2 with a couple of walks. Yankees ahead 9-6. And again, the Red Sox have won. They beat Minnesota 5-2. Now Bell delivers. Molina takes a fastball up and away. In the bottom of the ninth inning, the Cubs lead Cincinnati 6-0. The Milwaukee Brewers had tied San Diego 3-3 in the sixth inning in Milwaukee. Here's the 1-0 delivery. A grounder, but foul. Outside the coaching box area at third base. 1-1 now to Molina. So the Cubs looks like they're going to win. Their magic number is 2. Chicago going in with a 2-game lead over that Milwaukee ball club. So the Cubs have taken care of their business, and now they're going to wait to see what Milwaukee does. Right now they're tied, mentioned San Diego 3-3 in the sixth inning. Now the 1-1 pitch. There goes A-Rod. There's a bouncer out to second base. Roberts will go to first. Side retired. But the Yankees get one more. A-Rod, RBI number 155. Not all tonight, for the year.
Seems like it.
Sometimes. We head to the bottom of the eighth inning. Yankees ahead 9-6 on the Orioles radio network. Joe Angel, Fred Manfra back at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, and now the Orioles in the bottom of the eighth inning. Yankees are ahead 9-6. Right-hander Luis Vizcaíno is in here to pitch now. And the Orioles have the bottom of the order coming up. Ramon Hernandez, and then Jay Payton, and then Scott Moore is scheduled to hit. The Yankees have also made a defensive change as Melky Cabrera has now taken over from Johnny Damon out there in center field. So the Yankees will have Jose Molina doing the catching with A-Rod, Jeter, Cano, and Minkiewicz third to first, Matsui in left, Cabrera in center, and Abreu in right field. In the bottom of the seventh inning, Florida 7, the Mets 4. We'll keep you posted. The Phillies, they're in the bottom of the eighth inning. They lead Washington 6-0. We'll keep you posted. It's a final. The Cubs beat Cincinnati 6-0. Soriano hit number 32. Derek Lee hit number 22. So the Cubs have done their business. We mentioned Milwaukee has now gotten behind San Diego. The Padres have scored a run in the top of the sixth inning. San Diego now leads Milwaukee 4-3, with the Padres still batting in the sixth inning. They have a runner at second base with only one out. Now here's Ramon to lead off against Vizcaíno in the eighth inning, bottom half. Swinging a pop-up back toward the upper deck behind home plate. For the count 0-1. Also in the National League, in the middle of the seventh inning, it is Arizona 4, Colorado 1. Rockies have won 12 straight, actually 11 straight, and they are trying to stay alive in both that divisional race and in the wild card race. There's the 0-1 to Ramon. Little fly ball to right center. There's Melky. He catches it the Melky way. And Hernandez is retired. He'll bring up Jay Payton now. Later, San Francisco is at the Los Angeles Dodgers in a totally meaningless game. Now here's Jay Payton. He is 1 for 3 tonight, as he hit what turned out to be a triple his first time up back in the second inning. Pitch on the way, a little breaking ball, waved at by Payton, and he missed it. The count 0-1. Here the Yankees are ahead in the bottom of the eighth inning. They lead at 9-6. A-Rod's had a big night. Johnny Damon hit one on the Utah Street tonight. A-Rod a 2-run homer, 5 RBI. There's a swing and a foul back towards us. I should say 4 RBIs for Alex Rodriguez. He's knocked in 4. He's had a 2-run homer. He's had an RBI double, and he's had a run-scoring single. Matsui's knocked in a run. Cano's knocked in a run. Orioles put together a real good rally in the bottom of the fifth to get back in the ballgame to make it a 1-run game, as they came up with 4 consecutive hits with 2 outs. to make it a one-run game back in that 5th inning. But then Johnny Damon hit the home run right away, and the Yankees are ahead 9-6. There's a half swing by Payton, swung at a bad ball. Strike 3. Molina retrieves it, and the ball that got away momentarily, and he'll get the ball to first base to complete the strikeout, and that's out number 2. And now it'll bring up Scott Moore. Now the Yankees ahead 9-6. Well, for the Orioles, this has not been what you would call a preferable kind of a season by any stretch of the imagination. It's been a horrendous time for the ball club. And tonight they're trying to avoid what would be their 92nd loss, as Moore takes a little bit low and outside for a ball. But just to make you feel better, on this date in 1971, the good old days, this date 1971, the Orioles won their 108th game of that year as they swept Boston in a doubleheader. Moore takes a ball in the dirt. They won the first game 10-2, and they came back and the Orioles won the second game 5-4. And with that doubleheader sweep, the Orioles became only the 3rd team to win at least 100 games in 3 consecutive seasons. Those were the days, my friend. Those were the days. Here comes the 2-0 delivery. Liner. That's a base hit right field. How about Scott Moore tonight? He's had 3 hits against the Yankees tonight. And now it'll bring up Brian Roberts. Roberts tonight 1 for 4. It's a final. That's in the Cubs were winning over Cincinnati 6-0. Phillies are done batting in the 8th inning, so they're heading to the 9th inning in Philadelphia, and they lead the Nationals 6-0. Here comes the pitch. Roberts takes it low and outside for a ball. The Phillies are amazing. Remember, Jimmy Rollins came out in spring training and said, he just flat out, he came out and said, hey, the Phillies were the team to beat. Well, those comments weren't received too well in New York. And of course, the Mets had been in first place just about the entire season. And it wasn't until yesterday that the Phillies finally got a taste of first place. Roberts swings and he fouls it away at the plate. And even then they had to share first place with the Mets. But if they win tonight, it looks like they're going to. And it looks like the Mets are going to lose again. The Phillies will be in first place all by themselves on September 28th.
Jose Molina he's gone through a heavyweight boxing match behind the plate. Got another foul ball. This time he was feeling his chin as that ball came back off the bat of Brian Roberts. Remember earlier it was Melvin Mora who rocked him back with a foul ball off the mask.
Well, I wonder if Posada asked to be taken out because he knew what was coming.
He had a premonition.
Yeah, put Jose in there. Put that guy Molina in there. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Roberts takes low and inside for a ball. But that's really amazing. If the Phillies go on to win that division title, not to have been in first place at all until September 28th, all by themselves. Of course, last year, Minnesota, the Twins, they won that division title. And the only day that they were in first place was on the last day of the season. In first place all by themselves. That was just last year. Now the Phillies almost duplicating that this year. But it's not a done deal yet. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Roberts takes a knee-high strike. They count 2-2. Now the Mets are heading down the bottom of the 7th inning. Florida leads it 7-4. The Marlins, who just took care of the Chicago Cubs, and now they're trying to take care of the Mets. They're trying to keep their slump going. Vizcaíno looks in. Roberts stands in. Scott Moore is at first with 2 outs. Yankees ahead 9-6. Here's the pitch. Low and inside to Roberts. 3-2 the count. Toronto tonight beat Tampa Bay 5-4. So for Tampa Bay, I think that clinches the worst record in the American League. Therefore, it clinches the #1 draft choice. So send a little telegram to Tampa Bay to congratulate them. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Runner going. There's a fly ball. Right field corner. Abreu not going to get to it. It lands in gently out there. Here's Moore stopping at third base. Roberts into second base. Slides in safely. The throw coming in toward the plate. Roberts a double. The Orioles now with runners on second and third, where the Yankees ahead 9-6. And now Redmond comes up to hit with 2 outs, and he is the tying run.
Well, they had Ron Vallone, the left-hander, up in the bullpen, along with the right-hander out there, as the Orioles get the base hits from Moore and Roberts with 2 down.
Well, Brian Roberts with his 42nd double of the season. That, I believe, is 9th in doubles in the American League. That time he did not hit the ball very hard, but he pulled it just inside the foul line. Bobby Abreu couldn't get to it. Well, the conversation continues out there at the pitcher's mound. Redmond waiting very patiently just outside the hitting circle. Markakis will be on deck, but there are 2 outs.
Now, Tyke Redmond's had 3 hits tonight, scored a couple of runs, yet to knock in 1 tonight. Now has a perfect opportunity. Base hit here, could score possibly 2.
And now Guidry back in the Yankee dugout. And Vizcaíno will go to work on Tyke Redmond. Right-hander against left-hander. Scott Moore is at third. Roberts out there at second base with 2 outs. Now the Orioles have out-hit the Yankees tonight 15-12. Redmond gets a piece of it and fouled it away. 0-1 the count. Vizcaíno got a brand new ball to work with now, taking plenty of time out there. The veteran right-hander standing tall, peers in. Redmond will wave that bat a couple of times. Now he'll cock that bat. Had the 0-1 delivery. This one kind of backs him off the plate. Even up at 1-1. The Rockies have come up with a run in the bottom of the 7th. They'll make it. Now the Orioles trying to bounce back here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 38,113 the paid attendance here tonight. Redmond digs in with a count of 1-2. Orioles have runners on second and third with 2 outs. Yankees ahead 9-6. Vizcaíno again being very deliberate. He takes a look and now he backs off the rubber. And now the catcher Molina goes out to talk to him. Vizcaíno just seems like he cannot make up his mind exactly what it is that he wants to throw.
Well, Redmond's had 7 at-bats against this veteran right-hander. Still looking for that first hit. Vizcaíno struck him out a couple of times. So we'll see what they come up with here on the 1-2 pitch.
See the signs again. Molina went out and said, hey, I only got 10 fingers. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, and he struck him out. Well, he threw the right pitch, and it was down and in, and Redmond flailed at it, and he swung and missed, and the side retired. So they leave runners on second and third. Now we head to the 9th. Yankees ahead 9-6. This is the Oriole Radio Network. All right, now the Yankees in the top of the 9th inning. They lead the ball game 9-6. Well, it's a final. Here comes the pitch. Giambi takes low. Final score nationally, the Phillies have won again. They beat Washington 6-0. Hamels wins it to run his record to 15-5 with a shutout. Well, ground ball, the infield shift is on. Roberts from right field to first, and he gets Giambi. He's retired 4-3. And now Cano up there with 1 down. So again, the Phillies beat Washington 6-0. Ryan Howard hit his 45th home run. And with the Chicago Cubs losing to Cincinnati and the Mets losing their game against Florida right now, And Milwaukee trailing against San Diego right now in the National League. Wow, it's fun to watch. Here comes the pitch. And Cano takes it a little bit low. I mean, right now, as we speak, the Phillies are in first place in the Eastern Division all by themselves by half a game until the completion of the Mets game against Florida. And right now, that game is in the 8th inning. Florida ahead 7-4. There's a cue shot toward third. Coming in, Melvin barehands it. He throws it too late. The ball gets by Scott Moore, but there'll be no advance. Roberts backing up out there. That'll be an infield single for Robbie Cano. Boy, just a little cue shot toward third as he hit that thing right off the end of the bat. Now the ball slowly spinning toward third base. Melvin Mora came charging in, did a good job to barehand that thing, got rid of it, but it was much too late to get the out, even if Mora had come up with that ball.
Well, the Yankees had said they'd like to see Mariano Rivera get into a couple of games before the start of the postseason. He is up and throwing in the bullpen for the Yankees, along with right-hander Matt DeSalvo.
For Rivera, just be a tune-up. Now here's Minkevich. Yankees ahead 9-6 in the top of the 9th inning. Rob Bell came on in the 7th inning of this game. And he gave up a run in the 8th inning. Minkevich tonight 1 for 4. How about the Phillies? They won again tonight, go to first base too late. And the Phillies, I mean, not only have the Mets been losing, but of course, for that to mean anything, the Phillies have to win, and that's what they've done. I mean, they've won 12 of the last 15 games they played, and I believe 7 of them came against the Mets, head-to-head. Pitch out, nothing going on.
Well, Cole Hamels came up big. He had 13 strikeouts in 8 innings tonight.
Outstanding. In Philadelphia right now, they're not talking about the Eagles. They're talking about the Phillies. What a story. I mean, combined what they've done and what the Mets have done, you put those together, it'll be one of the truly amazing comebacks. There's a swing and a miss. The throw to second. Tejada, the tag, safe at second. Cano steals it. Well, they put on the hit and run, and Rob Bell delivered a ball up and away like a pitch out. Minkevich swung and missed. He could not put the ball in play, but Cano beat the throw to second. It was not a good throw. It was in the dirt. Tejada had to short hop it, and the tag was late.
Well, Jimmy Rollins set a major league record tonight. His 706th at bat. That breaks the record that Willie Wilson had in 1980. Imagine 706 at bats.
He knocked in a couple of runs in that game tonight, I believe. You're talking about maybe the MVP in the National League. Jimmy Rollins, the job he's done this year. Minkevich, a little bouncer out to Roberts at second base. He'll go to first out there. And on the play, Cano going to third. And now the top of the order comes up in Melky Cabrera. I mean, Rollins, the home runs he hits, the stolen bases he gets, the doubles and the triples, all the extra base hits, and the job he does defensively. And he is the vociferous leader on that ball club. I mean, it was Jimmy Rollins who challenged the Phillies at the beginning of the season by proclaiming to the baseball world that the Phillies were the team to beat. And as it turns out right now, he was right. Here comes the pitch. Fly ball, well hit. Right field. Markakis racing way back there. He will jump up at the wall, and he makes a one-handed catch. And I think he might have brought that thing back. He got to the wall, he jumped up. Yeah, I think that ball might have gone. So no runs, a hit, a steal. They leave a runner at third base. And now the Orioles coming up. We head to the bottom of the 9th. The Yankees are ahead 9-6. Well, you see it all the time. A guy saves a 2-run home run and he leads off the next inning. Well, maybe not all the time, but every once in a while. And indeed, it will be Nick Markakis to lead off in the bottom of the 9th inning. And as Fred mentioned, the Yankees want to get Rivera some work prior to the postseason coming up next week. So Rivera, Mariano coming into pitch. And for Rivera, this is a save situation. It's what they call a platter save situation. Come in with a 3-run lead and needing just 3 outs. Now Rivera this year has picked up 30 saves. He is 30 out of 33 after a very slow start. Remember, early in the season, Rivera was struggling. At the same time, he was not getting a lot of save opportunities when the Yankees got off to that 21-29 start. So Rivera is out there to work, and Markakis will lead off. He'll be followed by Miguel Tejada, and then Millar, who earlier in the game pinch hit for Aubrey Huff. Markakis with a couple of hits tonight. He's gone 2 for 4. Rivera will deliver to him. Here it comes. Just off the outside corner. 1 ball, no strikes. Yankees with Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, Robbie Cano, and Doug Minkiewicz around the infield, 3rd to 1st. Jose Molina doing the catching. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Markakis looked like a breaking ball in there for a call strike.
Well, Markakis has been a tough out for Mariano Rivera. Just a few at bats, 5, but 3 hits and 2 doubles for Markakis against this great closer.
And now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Markakis takes this one off. That previous pitch, by the way, did have some break to it, but it was the famous Rivera cutter that sometimes looks like a slider. And now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Markakis hits a looping line drive, and that's a base hit to center field. So he continues to have success against Rivera. Markakis tonight has had 3 hits. And Nick has had 9 hits in his last 13 at-bats. And he's had 15 hits in his last 30 at-bats with a couple of home runs. So now Tejada to hit with nobody out. Good to see Nick finish strong. Markakis, by the way, now with 188 hits this year. Tejada takes it a little bit low.
And he has played in every game that the Orioles have played this year, this being the 160th. And for a period there, it looked like he was getting a little tired, but that bat has certainly awakened in the homestand.
And Rivera behind Miguel Tejada, 1-0. Here comes the pitch. As the fastball lined to third, caught by A-Rod, and there's no other play. I'll tell you what, Tejada, his last time up, hit one here at Camden Yards to the deepest part of the ballpark, and a ball that Johnny Damon caught out there on the back of the warning track in left center. And now he lines out to third. And if you're a hitter, as you say, all you can do is hit the ball hard.
And now Millar, a .375 lifetime hitter against Mariano Rivera. He's homered in 6 hits and 16 at-bats.
In this game, he's 0 for 1. He came into the game as a pinch hitter and popped out back in the 7th. Well, Rivera will go to work on him. On deck is Melvin Mora. Here comes the pitch. This one, a called strike. Caught the knees right there over the inner portion of home plate. And the count 0-1. Same 2 teams again tomorrow night. It'll be Daniel Cabrera tomorrow against Andy Pettit. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Oh, look out. He got drilled. Millar got hit by a pitch. Got on the left hand. Maybe along the fingers. So Kevin will make his way toward first base.
Well, Rivera's claiming it hit the nub of the bat.
I think it did.
And Joe Torre's going to come out to argue that point with home plate umpire Larry Vanover.
You see 2 different angles. There's no question that the ball hit the bat. It may have grazed the fingers as well. And the only way that that could be considered as a foul ball, even if it hits him in the hands, is if Millar gets hit in the process of swinging the bat. But he was not. He was able to check his swing. The ball looked like it hit the bat, and it may have gotten a piece of his hand, or maybe a finger. So Millar is at first. So now they're at 2 aboard, and all of a sudden Melvin Mora represents the would-be tying run.
Now he's had only 2 hits and 18 at-bats in his career against Mariano Rivera with 7 strikeouts.
Well, the Orioles made some noise in the bottom of the 8th inning. They had runners out there, 2nd and 3rd. They had the tying run inside the batter's box, and now they're doing it again in the 9th inning. Here comes the pitch. In there for a call strike. Melvin tonight 1 for 4. He had a single that knocked in a run back in the 5th inning. That was one of 4 consecutive hits with 2 outs to pick up RBIs. And at the time, it made it a 1-run game. Right now, the Yankees are ahead 9-6. Mora back in there. Rivera takes a look, and the right-hander says yes. Now the set, and here it comes. Jammed him, and the ball looped foul down there behind first base. And a ball that Mitkevich could not get to. It's back about 4 rows. 0-2 to Melvin Mora. Now the Mets are now hitting in the bottom of the 8th inning at Shea Stadium. Florida leads that game 7-4. You mentioned the Phillies have already won. The Chicago Cubs have won. They beat Cincinnati 6-0. Milwaukee losing to San Diego right now 4-3 in the 7th inning in Milwaukee. Now Rivera again. 0-2 to Mora. And here it comes. Jammed him, and again the ball cued foul off to the right, a broken bat. And it stays at 0-2. Other games of interest in the 8th inning: Arizona 4, Colorado 2. So the Rockies' 11-game winning streak may be about to come to an end. And if it does, the Rockies' postseason aspirations may also be about to come to an end. But boy, what a run they made if they do lose. What a run. 11 consecutive victories to get right in the middle of that postseason picture. In that game, by the way, the Rockies are now hitting in the bottom of the 8th inning. Melvin Mora stands in, the count 0-2. Rivera is ready. He'll check the runners. He will deliver. Fouled away again by Melvin in the upper deck off to the right. So Rivera's had Melvin Mora 0-2. He's not wasting anything. And Melvin's up there battling. Mora with 14 home runs. And now with 57 knocked in this year. He's back in the box. Moore stands in. Rivera at the belt. Here's the 0-2. A little bit low. 1-2 now to the Oriole third baseman. And of course, same 2 teams again tomorrow night, then on Sunday to close out the regular season. Now we know it's going to be Brian Burris for the Orioles. For the Yankees, they have yet to make a decision. There's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball is too high. So they count 2-2. Andy Pettitte for the Yankees tomorrow night will get a final tune-up before the postseason.
Yeah, they don't expect him to work very deep into that ball game. Just say tune-up prior to the postseason.
Now Rivera again with a count 2-2 to Melvin. Here's the pitch. Fly ball right field. Shallow. Coming out of Abreu. Says he has it. He does. Now Ramon Hernandez will try to extend this game. It's been a while since Hernandez hit a home run. September 3rd. 25 days ago. Ramon hit a home run. Last time he did that, home run here could tie it.
He's never homered against Mariano Rivera. In fact, just 4 hits and 14 at-bats against Rivera.
Ramon has doubled tonight to knock in a run back in that 4-run 5th inning. So it'll be right-hander against right-hander. Payton on deck, but there are 2 outs. Molina goes out to talk to Rivera. Although you wonder, what could Molina say to Rivera?
Get him out.
That he doesn't already know.
Yeah.
Well, Molina back behind the plate, and Rivera sent to work. Here comes the pitch. In there. Cutter, a call strike. 0-1 the count. Cutter at 95. Ramon does have 8 home runs this season. He has not hit one against the Yankees all year. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Line drive toward right field. That's a base hit. Now Markakis is going to be held up at third base. Abreu guns it back in toward the plate. Mankiewicz cuts it off, but the Orioles have the bases loaded. And of course, that run for Markakis was not an important run, but now the Orioles have the tying run on base. And Jay Payton will come up to hit with 2 outs with the bases loaded.
I got a pinch runner, Brandon Fahey. Much better speed, obviously, at first base, taking over on that bag to pinch run for Ramon Hernandez.
So now it's up to Jay Payton to keep this game going.
Well, Jay Payton looking for his first hit in his career against Mariano Rivera.
Does have a hit tonight. He tripled his first time up. He's 0 for 3 since. He digs in. Rivera delivers. Very high fastball. 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, the Orioles have their bullpen active. Chad Bradford out there throwing just in case.
Now Jay Payton for the year, his batting average is .255. With runners in scoring position, he's hitting .283. So a bit better. Here's the pitch. Fly ball, but foul off to the right. So it's even up 1-1 now to Jay Payton. Payton, by the way, with the bases loaded this year, is only 1 for 8. He really has not been as good a clutch hitter as he was last year with Oakland. Up there with the count of 1-1. Payton digs in. Rivera at the belt, and he delivers. Very high above the letters. The count 2-1. So at least Payton getting himself into a good hitter's count here against Rivera.
Over the past several years, it appears whenever Mariano comes in, it is not an easy save for him. The Orioles battling.
Well, he's getting a lot more work tonight than I'm sure the Yankees would have liked. Well, they count 2-1. Now he's ready again. Payton waits. Here it comes. Line drive toward right center. Abreu racing over. And he cannot get to it. The ball gets past him. 1 run is in. Here's Millar coming in. Fahey is coming in. And to third is Payton. And he slides in safely. This game is tied in the bottom of the 9th inning. A 3-bagger. Abreu could not get to it. And once the ball got past him, Fahey scored easily from first base. So Rivera gets a blown save tonight. And now the Orioles have a chance to win this thing.
And remember the last time Scott Moore saw Mariano Rivera, he didn't swing the bat.
Yeah, that was at Yankee Stadium. I guarantee he's going to swing the bat now. Here it comes. He swings it. And a broken bat ground ball over the bag at first base. Mankiewicz will run to the bag. Moore is retired. And we are going into extra innings. As Jay Payton has tied this game. And Scott Moore on a ground out. So we're going to the 10th. And it's a 9-9 game. And this is the Orioles Radio Network. Are the totals on the board? Yankees 9 runs on 13 hits, no errors. They've left 10. Orioles with 9 runs on 18 hits in this game with no errors, and they have stranded 9. The Yankees coming up now, top of the 10th inning. Bradford on to pitch, and with the play-by-play. And in these parts, we call him Mr. Extra Innings.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Let's get to Fred Manfra.
Well, the Orioles have deadlocked this ball game, so we do go to extra frames tonight. We go to the 10th, 9-9 ball game. Yankees have left 10, the Orioles have left 9, and Chad Bradford takes over on the hill. Paul Bacco behind the plate. For Chad Bradford, this is his 78th appearance of the year. He's 3-7 this season. The Submariner faces Derek Jeter, and Jeter takes a high pitch outside. Ball 1. At Shea Stadium in New York, Mets batting in the bottom of the 9th inning, trailing 7-4. If they lose, they trail the Phillies by a full game in the National League East. Derek Jeter has an RBI single tonight, driving in a couple of runs. Fastball upstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. Picked up those 2 RBI in the 3rd inning, now with 73 on the year. Jeter hitting .321. Jeter 5 for 16 in his looks at Chad Bradford over the years. The pitch to the right-handed batter. Shot in the gap in left center field. Tyke Redmond racing. He can't get it. It'll go all the way to the wall toward the 410 sign. Pulling up at second base with his 39th double. A leadoff 2-bagger here in the 10th. Derek Jeter. And I'll bring up Bobby Abreu. Abreu's had a couple of doubles and a couple of runs scored tonight. Abreu with 1 more RBI to reach 100 on the year. That was a shot that no way Tyke Redmond could catch up with as he chased it all the way to the wall and the left of the 410 marker out in center field. And got a pinch runner coming in the ball game for Derek Jeter. Sardina is now running at second base for Jeter. And Abreu at the plate. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Pitch to Abreu inside for a strike on the inside corner. That ball, that 81-mile-an-hour fastball, worked its way back across the inner portion of the plate. So 0-1 to Abreu. Abreu bounces it to first base. Moore will reach down, pick it up, go to the bag, but moving to third base, the pinch runner, Sardina. So the Yankees, with a fly ball here, could take the lead, and A-Rod comes up. He's had a 4 RBI night, 2-run home run in the 3rd, a double to drive in a run in the 5th, and a single to knock in a run in the 8th. And with A-Rod coming up, first base open, here comes Dave Tremblay. Alex Rodriguez in his career, .273 hitter against Chad Bradford. 6 hits, 22 at-bats with a home run. On deck is Hideki Matsui. Matsui just 1 for 5 in his looks at Chad Bradford. So Sardina, the runner at third base, 1 down. Tremblay has had his say-so to Paul Bacco. He has had the entire infield in on the hill to go over what they want to do here. First base is open, and a guy with 155 runs driven in this year at the plate. And Alex Rodriguez, now home plate umpire Larry Vanover, who was very generous with the time, finally will go out to break up the conversation. He's still allowing Tremblay some more time to talk to the Orioles, and now finally they break up the conversation. We'll see what the Orioles have up their sleeve here with the right-handed bat of Alex Rodriguez at the plate and Matsui on deck. Mentioned that Bradford and Rodriguez over the years, Alex has homered against Chad, 6 for 22, but Bradford has struck him out 5 times. So we'll see. The Oriole infield is drawn in, and they're going to intentionally walk him. And so Matsui will get the at-bat. As we mentioned, Matsui just 1 hit against Chad Bradford. So it'll set up the possibility for a double play. And Hideki Matsui, who has been struggling at the plate recently, does have an RBI single tonight, will come up. So the Orioles will have that opportunity with a runner at first and third and 1 down, and Matsui will come up as a left-handed batter, of course.
Isn't Bradford the guy who hates to walk people intentionally?
Yeah.
He's got like a phobia about it, but he gets it done with no incident.
Well, Matsui leads the Yankees ball club with his 10 sacrifice flies. And, of course, a fly ball here to fairly deep in the outfield could plate that one. They're going to load the bases as they're going to walk Matsui, and they're going to go against Molino or a pinch hitter. So what they do is they intentionally walk Rodriguez. They intentionally walk Matsui, and the bases will be loaded with one out. And of course, Posada no longer in the ball game. Jose Molina has been doing the catching the past several innings. Now Molina has never had a hit in 5 at-bats against Chad Bradford. So it's 3-0 to Matsui, who stands there with the bat on his left shoulder, and Baco goes out with the arm to indicate he wants it wide, and there's the 4th wide one. So the base is loaded and one out.
Interesting, Bradford. We talked about the phobia he has about walking people intentionally. He's just not comfortable doing it, and when he throws it as hard as he can. The 4 intentional balls, so that's how he gets past it.
Well, now the Oriole infield will back up. Molina at the plate. Molina hitting .251, .310 as a Yankee. He has a chance here to put the Yankees on top with one out, but the base is loaded. We'll see if the strategy works. Bradford sets. Pitch to the right-handed batting catcher, and Molina chops it third base side and foul. As Melvin Mora goes out to pick it up in foul ground, so strike 1 to Molina. Posada in the ball game had a base hit, couple of walks in 4 at-bats. So Molina will come back, claim his bat. Look down at his third base coach, Larry Boa. A runner at every base for the Yankees. We're in the top of the 10th in a 9-9 ball game. Orioles tied it with 3 in the bottom of the 9th against Mariano Rivera. A bases loaded triple off the bat of Jay Payton to tie it. Bradford sets. Pitch on the way to Molina. Fouled back and out of play. So Molina down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. After Molina, it's Jason Giambi. So we have 2 strikes to count. Bases loaded, just 1 out. And Molina waves that lumber over the plate, awaiting the delivery. Medina at third, Alex Rodriguez at second, Matsui at first. The 2-strike pitch to Molina. He lifts a little pop-up foul ground. Moore will come over. He makes the grab for the out. So 2 down now, and it will be up to Giambi. Jason Giambi's had a couple of hits in 4 at-bats over the years against Chad Bradford. Well, it was the leadoff double by Jeter. The pinch runner came on, then back-to-back intentional walks after the ground out by Bobby Abreu. Walks to A-Rod and Matsui. Molina pops out in foul ground to the first baseman, and now Giambi will come up. Giambi tonight looking for his first hit, 0 for 3 with a couple of walks. Giambi, a very discerning eye at the plate. Now awaits the first offering from Chad Bradford. Shift is on. The pitch on the way to Giambi. A strike 1 call, the fastball on the inside corner. That shift has Miguel Tejada to the first base side of second. Ryan Robertson shallow right field, and the first baseman Moore backed up. So 1 infielder on the left side, and that's Melvin Mora, who's being directed to move more toward the shortstop's position than third base. 1 strike to Giambi, 2 outs. Here in the top of the 10th in a 9-9 ball game. Giambi hitting .233 on the year, just 36 runs driven in an injury-plagued season. Pitch on the way to the left-handed batter, and Giambi fouls it out of play for strike 2 off to the left side. So the Orioles 1 strike away from having their strategy work. Intentionally walking Rodriguez and Matsui to load the bases with 1 out. Molina was retired on the foul pop-up, and now Bradford has 2 strikes on Giambi. The big left-handed batter awaits the pitch. Bradford sets. The delivery on the way to Giambi. Fastball upstairs for ball 1. A fastball at 82 from Chad Bradford. Bradford will lean in, get the sign from Baco. Yankees have the bases loaded, 2 out in the top of the 9th. The 1-2 delivery on the way to Giambi. And a foul ball down the left side. Racing over, trying to dive and catch it is Melvin Mora. He can't get to it. Mora made the valiant effort trying to come up with that ball as it was slicing away. Foul side third base. And just out of his reach. So the count remains 1-2 to Jason Giambi. So we'll do it all over again. Sardina, the pinch runner, is at third base. Alex Rodriguez, he's at second. Matsui at first. Rodriguez and Matsui intentionally walked with one out. Then they got the foul pop-up off the bat of Molina. Now a 1-ball, 2-strike count to Giambi. Pitch on the way to Jason. Fouled back to the screen. Giambi, with that fastball at 82, took the mighty rip and fouled it straight back. So the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jason Giambi. Giambi this year 1 for 3 with the bases loaded. Hitting just .258 with runners in scoring position. So again, we'll do it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yankees have the bases loaded, 2 out, top of the 10th, 9-9 ball game. Pitch to Giambi. A high pop-up, first base side. The question is, will Moore have room? No, he will not. 7 or 8 rows out of his reach as the first baseman and second baseman went over. But Giambi stays alive, and the count remains 1-2. You know, fans on their feet as we look around Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Whether they're Oriole fans or Yankee fans, they're on their feet. Oriole fans yelling for the out. Yankee fans yelling for the hit. A runner at every base for New York. Again, we'll go 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 out. The pitch to Giambi pops him up. Shallow left field. Coming in is Payton. He will clutch it for the final out. So the Yankees get that runner to third with 1 out. Then the intentional walks to Rodriguez and Matsui. The pop out and foul ground by Molina, and a shallow fly ball to left by Giambi. And that's it for the Yankees in the top of the 10th. We head to the bottom of the inning. It's still Orioles 9, Yankees 9 on the Orioles Radio Network. Well, several defensive changes. Betemit is now the third baseman for the Yankees. Gonzalez goes in at short. And Sardina is now the right fielder for the New Yorkers. And we have a new pitcher, Edouard Ramirez. And the Orioles will have the top of the order to go against the right-hander Ramirez. Brian Roberts, Tyke Redmond, and Nick Markakis. Well, he allowed 3 earned runs with a couple of walks in his last appearance. The pitch on the way to Brian, and here's a strike 1. Well, I'm sure Boston fans are either glued to their radio, to their computer, or their television watching to see if the Red Sox will be able to celebrate the American League East title here tonight. The first delivery, second delivery outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. The Red Sox defeated the Minnesota Twins tonight to reduce their magic number to 1 to wrap it up. The Orioles scored 3 in the bottom of the 9th to tie. Now we're in the bottom of the 10th, still deadlocked, 9 runs apiece. The Ramirez delivery hit hard to the first baseman. Minkevich on both knees to block it. He'll go to the bag for the first out. Now Tyke Redmond will step in. 18 hits tonight for the Orioles on their way to their 9 runs. 14 hits for the Yankees, 9 runs. Yankees have left 13 base runners. The Orioles have left 9. So here's Tyke Redmond. Redmond's had 3 hits and 5 at bats tonight. The pitch to the left-handed batter inside, ball 1. Messina, Ollendorf, Farnsworth, Vizcaíno, Rivera, and now Ramirez for the New Yorkers on the hill. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way to Redmond. Slice it down the left field line. If it's fair, it's a lot of trouble. It is a fair ball. Goes into the left field corner. Matsui tracks it down. Redmond will go in standing at second base. So Tyke Redmond with a 4-hit game. And he represents the winning run at second with 1 down. And Nick Markakis will come up. Markakis has had 3 hits already tonight. In fact, his single in the ninth started things for the Orioles against Mariano Rivera. So Nick Markakis will come up with a chance to win it. Redmond with speed at second base. Markakis leads the ball club with his 110 runs driven in. He's had 3 singles and 5 at-bats tonight. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. The Ramirez delivery, and Markakis takes the pitch. As it gets beyond the catcher Molina, Tyke Redmond goes to third base as the ball rolls all the way to the backstop. The changeup, Markakis watched it, and then it snuck between the legs of the catcher Molina. Molina had the ball hit off the glove. It didn't hit the dirt. It was a good pitch to catch. So the pass ball allows Redmond to get to third base. Now, any number of ways the Orioles can win it. So the winning run 90 feet away. And now Ramirez will step off the mound. Infield comes in for the Yankees. The outfield is in. A 1-0 count to Markakis. Ramirez sets. Pitch on the way to Nick. And it's down the middle but low. 2 balls and no strikes. Couple of off-speed pitches to start the at-bat. And a 2-0 count. Tejada on deck. Redmond doubled. Went to third on the pass ball. 1 out. Markakis, a .297 hitter, awaits the 2-0 delivery from Ramirez. It's on its way, and it's ball 3 downstairs. So 3 consecutive off-speed pitches to Markakis.
Then why not walk Markakis? Instead of a double play, they're going to walk him now. I mean, that's what they should do. I mean, they might even walk Tejada and then maybe go after Millar and maybe try to get Millar to hit into a double play.
Well, it'll be the same strategy the Orioles employed successfully in the top of the inning.
Exactly.
So we'll see
what they do.
Here comes Joe Torre. He's going to come out and give his orders to his pitcher. So they walk Markakis. Runners at first and third at the moment. The situation will have Tejada coming up, and now the entire infield has gathered round the skipper on the mound, and he is talking to Ramirez.
They could do one of 2 things. Tejada has hit into 22 double plays this year, which is 3rd most in the American League. Or they could walk Tejada and then go after Millar, be right-hander against right-hander. And if Millar does hit the ball on the ground, with his lack of speed, he becomes the ideal double play candidate.
Now, Miguel Tejada has driven in 2 more runs tonight, 81 on the year. He's hit the ball hard his last 2, and that's what they're going to do. Follow the same strategy the Orioles did successfully in the top of the inning, so the bases will go loaded with 1 out. So the intentional walk will have Tejada go to first, and Kevin Millar will have the opportunity to win the ball game. So there's the second wide one. In the top of the inning, Derek Jeter led off with a double. He was pinch run for. Then a ground out to the first baseman Moore by Abreu had the runner go to third. The Orioles elected to intentionally walk Rodriguez and Matsui to load the bases with 1 out. Chad Bradford induced the foul pop-up off the bat of Molina and then got Giambi on a shallow fly ball to left, and the Yankees did not score in the top of the inning. In this inning, Ryan Roberts grounded out hard to the first baseman to start it. Redmond doubled, went to third on a pass ball, then the walk to Markakis, intentional walk to Tejada, and now Millar comes up with the bases loaded and 1 out. So Kevin Millar, the former Boston Red Sox hero, has a chance here to send the Red Sox to nail down the American League East crown. The Red Sox already won tonight. Their magic number reduced to 1. And if Millar can score a run here and the Orioles win it, the Red Sox are the American League East champs. So the infield in, the outfield basically in. The pitch on the way to Kevin Millar, and it's down the middle for a strike. He took it. 0-1. Fastball at 89 from Edouard Ramirez. Orioles scored 3 in the bottom of the 9th to tie and now have the opportunity here in the 10th to win it. Ramirez gets the sign from Molina. A runner at every base for the Orioles. The Yankees infield in. The pitch on the way to Kevin Millar, and Millar swings and misses at the fastball outside for strike 2. Fastball at 90, high and away. And so 2 strikes to Kevin. Millar's had 2 at-bats in this ball game. A fly out to left. He was hit by a pitch and scored on that bases loaded triple in the bottom of the 9th to tie. 0-2 to Millar. Redmond at third, Markakis at second, Tejada at first. 1 out, bottom of the 10th. 9-9 ball game. The pitch to Millar in the dirt, blocked by Molina. First base side batter's box, Molina got there and smothered that changeup. In the count now, 1 ball and 2 strikes. So the fans, as you look around the yards, the announced crowd 38,113. Most of them still here, and many of them standing. Edouard Ramirez, the right-hander, sets. Bases loaded for the Orioles, 1 out. The 1-2 pitch to Millar. Strike 3 called at the knees. And Millar watches the 3rd strike and walks back to the first base side dugout. An un-Millar-like at bat that time. As Millar watched that one at the knees, and Ramirez got the call, and Millar is the 2nd out. Now Melvin Mora comes up with 2 out and the bases loaded. Now the infield goes back and the outfield goes back.
And Millar is being booed in Boston.
Well, he could have nailed down that AL East title for his former team.
They loved him once.
So we'll see if Melvin Mora can do it right now. Bases jammed for Melvin. The pitch to Mora. Breaking ball outside. Ball 1. So 2 gone now with Redmond at third. Markakis at second. Tejada at first. 9-9. Bottom of the 10th. 2 out. Melvin tonight has an RBI single and 5 at bats. Pitch to the right-handed batter. Bunts at third base side. This will win it for the Orioles and the Red Sox. As Melvin Mora puts the bunt down with the bases loaded to get Redmond in from third. The Orioles win it 10-9 in 10. And the Red Sox, with that Yankees loss, claim the American League East title. The Orioles are mobbing Melvin Mora out in shallow right field as he is being hugged and kissed and hit on the batting helmet, and Mora's bunt wins it for the Orioles in the bottom of the 10th. Wow, what a ball game. The Orioles tied it with 3 against Mariano Rivera in the bottom of the 9th. Yankees loaded the bases in the top of the 10th, did not score. The Orioles load the bases in the bottom of the 10th, and with 2 outs, the bunt by Mora scores Redmond to win it. We'll be back.